All right. So I know I bring this up a lot. I bring up the idea of why universal health care can't work right now in America. And I'm not saying I don't want universal health care for Americans. I do. I desperately do. But the problem is, as things are right now, we couldn't do universal health care for Americans if we tried. And the reason why is we just don't have enough infrastructure to do universal health care. Like take my my situation, for example. I have 100% availability. Now, yes, I understand that my streams are the equivalent of a job. But I have flexibility. Like, I can move a stream left, I can move a stream right, and since I don't rely on this money, I can cancel a stream altogether. It'll hurt the brand, it'll hurt the growth, it'll hurt the music label, it'll hurt all those things, but I can, in fact, not do this. But what about a person who has the same hours at their wage job that I have? And so when I go to these appointments, I say to them, hey, I can't, it would be great if we could do like Tuesday or Thursday. Well, the person that does right now I have to have back massages because I have to break up these muscle knots that I have because I have to get trigger point injections starting in like a month. But they've already said my back is too tight. If you've never had a trigger point needle go in and then get bent, that's not a fun experience. They said you got to have deep tissue and trigger point massage to try to get this loosened up a little bit so we can put the needle in and let the needle bounce around and exhaust your muscle. Well, the person that does this is only available Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays because they work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What if the person who needs the treatment doesn't have the flexibility? And keep in mind, I have to go to one facility to get trigger point massage. They have exactly one person who can do it. I have to go to a different facility to get trigger point injections, and they have exactly one person. And the second facility isn't just a single place. It's the whole health network down here. They have one person currently who can do trigger point injections. The last time, get insurance. I have a jacuzzi. I have a jacuzzi in my backyard. I use it every day. It doesn't do what I need. Yeah, what happens to everybody when that one person moves out of state? And that's what we had down here for a long time. We had one neurologist down here. And I told you, this was 9 years ago when I was active duty still. Now we've gotten the hospital has brought in a couple of more neurologists. But there was one guy, he had two signs on his door. The first sign said, military members in uniform have priority. Because, of course, he wants to not lose his TRICARE contract. And you will lose your TRICARE contract really quickly if you have military members sitting there for 2-3 hours. And the other one was a very wonderful sign next to that said, please be advised that if I get sued one more time, I'm simply going across the river. You have to understand that neurology for headaches is not an exact science. He said, I am required by insurance protocols to walk you through what they consider the standard course of treatment. It will take time to figure out what medications work and which medications do not work. This is not something you will win in court about, but if I get sued one more time, I'm just leaving the state. And what sucks about that for him is, as a person who suffers from migraines, you go to the doctor and you know what's going to work. But the insurance company says, but that's the costly alternative. Let's try the cheaper alternative. Let's try Topamax. Let's try let's try Botox injections. And then, of course, for me, it was every time I moved states, they were like, oh, let's see if this new doctor, let's see if being under the care of this new doctor will change things. Guys, we walked me through all this shit once before. The doctor doesn't matter. That's one of the problems with everything past boo-boos and fevers require a specialist now. Yeah, and there was a mom. I had this happen, and another mom had this happen. A mom had this happen. Another parent had this happen. What happened was my daughter is got a compromised immune system. Gizmo gets sick a lot. Now, because Gizmo has a compromised immune system, when we call into the doctor and we say, hey, Gizmo's having breathing problems, 9 times out of 10, they create an appointment slot for her, just so she can go in, have her vitals checked. It's usually a tech appointment or a nurse appointment, just so she can go in and have her vitals checked. Now, because we have an amazing family doctor, he'll normally find a way to pop in for a second and then be like, bada bing, bada boom. Now, our doctor is really good. He's the what else doctor. You go in for your appointment. If it's a normal 15-minute appointment, he wants to know what else, because he really doesn't want to see you again. When I went in for my back, he's like, what else? He's like, what's going on with your weight? What's going on with your migraines? What's going on with your blood sugar? What's going on with your injections? He wanted every appointment is a full comprehensive appointment. But when he makes the appointment slot for Gizmo, he doesn't want to know anything about but her breathing. So 8 times this year, she's missed a day of school. We took her to the doctor. Well, she had a common cold. She wasn't in any breathing duress, but she was running a fever and she was vomiting. When we called her in sick, they were like, oh, well, this is her 9th absence. She's going to need a doctor's note. She's had doctor's notes for the other fucking 8. Are you paying the copay? No? Well, then she doesn't need a doctor's note for 1 day. Fuck right off. It was like back during COVID, every kid who got COVID needed a doctor's note. But then any kid who got sick needed a doctor's note. I told you guys this story. One morning my kid was sick, and I called my kid in sick to school. And they're like, oh, well, we're gonna need a doctor's note and a COVID test. I said, for what? They said, because you said one of the symptoms is vomiting. And I got pissed, and I said, are you gonna need a pregnancy test too? And the nurse was like, excuse me? I said, I didn't stutter. The nurse was like, well, why would we need a pregnancy test? Well, why would you need a COVID test? Well, because she's vomiting. Right, exactly. Which is why I'm asking you if she needs a pregnancy test. And the nurse is like, sir, I don't understand what you're trying to say to me. Well, you're saying my daughter needs a COVID test because she's vomiting first thing in the morning and she might have COVID. If my daughter is vomiting first thing in the morning, she might also be pregnant. It might be morning sickness. Would you like a pregnancy test result as well? That's all I'm asking you. I said, because the last time I checked it, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to a school nurse, but you're not a diagnostician. You don't get to make up policy. Worldwide plague, my kid's sick, going to miss school today. School, prove it. Right, exactly. Like, what was funny to me was that when the kids spent that whole semester on digital learning, you had kids, you would see the kids laying in their bed, dog-ass sick, but they'd have the laptop open, they'd be laying in bed. And the teacher would be like, you need to sit up. And the kid's like, I'm sick as shit, but I'm still logged in, leave me alone. Let's see. Sounds like that should be a school option to go into. Yeah, that's what we need is, as I keep saying, we need to match necessity with willingness. Are you willing? Like my nephew really wanted to be a doctor. My nephew could not get into medical school because he didn't go to a feeder school, and he's white. He's about as white as they come. He's Polish Irish. They don't make him any whiter than that. Well, he couldn't get into medical school because he wasn't in a feeder school. He graduated from undergrad and he dumbfucked it. He went into the Air Force because he went into a specific program because the Air Force needs doctors. The program is, we'll commission you, we'll send you to medical school, we'll pay you during residency, we'll send you to surgeon school, you owe us 10 years, and by the time you're done with all that, we will have provided more than $1 million of schooling, and you'll be a lieutenant colonel or a colonel by the time you're getting ready to get out. So if you give us another 10 years, you'll get out with your full pension. You'll be about 43, and when you enter into the civilian workforce, you'll be getting about $110,000 a year pension every year. You won't have to be a doctor if you don't want to. Doesn't that sound like a good idea? Well, what if you did that with civilian doctors? What if you said to them, look, if you become a doctor, we'll pay for it. Your high school grades indicate an aptitude for being a doctor. Are you interested in being a doctor? Oh yeah, I'm interested in being a doctor. Well, come on in, man. We're gonna shave off some of this undergrad crap that's not relevant to being a doctor. We're gonna send you to med school. We're gonna pay for it, and then as long as we're gonna know what the dollar amount you owe us is. If you work at our hospitals for 10 years. We're not going to pay you great, but what we're going to remind you every year, we're going to pay you about $65,000 a year. But then every year you're going to see your $1 million medical school balance drop by 50,000 or drop by 100,000. So yeah, you only walked home with 65 grand this year, but you took 100,000 off of your total. Same thing, you need more massage therapists that are specifically trained. And by the way, I didn't realize how the difference between just like a regular massage therapist is, like a Swedish massage, a feel-good massage, and then like the deep tissue trigger point massage therapist. I didn't realize how different those were. Hospitals have these massage therapists on staff for the people who have like atrophy. Holy hell, they're in school forever. Some of the massage therapists know anatomy and physiology equal to, if not better than, some doctors do. Now, what I mean by that is a massage therapist knows all the interconnections of the body better than a specialist, but the specialist will know the joint that they work on better. Like when I had my foot done like a year and a half ago, the doctor laughed. He's like, yeah, I went from doing elbows and shoulders to feet. And I said, well, why would you do that? Who want? I said, because, you know, I gotta ask a doctor a question. I gotta gauge him. It's like, why'd you go from shoulders and elbows to feet? And he's like, the pay is so much better. He's like, there's a ton of doctors out there for elbows. There's a ton of doctors out there for shoulders. There's not a lot of doctors out there for feet. And I was like, oh, makes sense. It's also like, I asked my urologist. I was like, why are you a urologist? I mean, no offense, but I wouldn't have, if I'd gone to med school, I wouldn't have wanted to look at dicks all day. And he's like, because the pay is good. He's like, you don't want to even imagine what I get paid. And I was like, sold. Not for me, but for him. It is what it is. It's the difference between a gym trainer and a physiotherapist. Yeah. Now, let's see what the Cheeto Poof in Chief has been up to. This makes me sad. I hope this isn't real. Donald Trump fell asleep during a live televised meeting. If Joe Biden had done that, the media would have treated it like a national emergency and run wall-to-wall panic coverage for a week. But when Trump does it, they look the other way because the clown show keeps their ratings and their pockets full. The hypocrisy is disgraceful. Let me see if I can log in here. I'm going to see if there's any proof or denial. Okay, I don't need to sign up for 15 things. Trump's doing it for a reason, you fucking asshole, because he's working 24 hours a day, and when he's done, gas will be $1.50 a gallon. Is this picture AI generated? Looks like a genuine picture. Wow, okay, let's see.
Of those. And so this president and his policies is not only safeguarding affordability for American families, but is ensuring that we continue to bet on American exceptionalism. We bet on innovation. We bet on the principles that have taken us to this place in 250 years for the next 250 years. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chris. Great job you do. Maybe you want to talk about rescheduling while we're here and just say what you're doing and the progress that you've made.
Right. Well, Mr. President, today is another promise made.
It doesn't look like he fell asleep.
First of the 17 MFN deals, together with our colleagues from the Department of Commerce under Secretary Lutnick's leadership and from the U.S. Trade Representative's office under the leadership of Ambassador Greer, we negotiated a landmark agreement with Government of the United Kingdom in which they agreed to increase significantly the amount that they spend on branded pharmaceuticals for the first time in 26 years. That work continues with other countries. And third, we will continue our work with our partners in Congress to codify the principles that underpin these most favored nation deals so that these savings for American families and this innovation that is unleashed at the same time persists for decades to come.
I don't think he's asleep.
1 in 3 or 4 families.
He looks bored as fuck, but he's not. I don't think he's asleep.
Our pharmacy counter right now, wrestling with the decision that no family should have to make of whether or not they can pick up their prescription because they can't afford it will no longer be the case. And at the same time, we know that there are roughly 20,000 known diseases in the world, and we have a treatment or a cure for fewer than a quarter of those. And so this president and his policies is not only safeguarding affordability for American families, but is ensuring that we continue to bet on American exceptionalism. We bet on innovation. We bet on the principles that have taken us to this place.
But even if he is, okay, not making, because I don't make excuses for Donald Trump. But I've been in afternoon meetings, right? I've been in afternoon meetings, long day. I've caught an elbow from my boss, like, been like, hey, stand up. Because in the military, if we're starting to fall asleep, we just go to the back of the room and we stand up. And nobody like judges us. Like, I've fallen asleep during, like, I've been on station since 4 a.m, and I'm in a 4 o'clock in the afternoon briefing. I've been on the flight line all day. It's hot as fuck. Then again, there is some, drink water and stand up. Right, exactly. And anybody that's been in the military knows if you've got a lot of afternoon meetings, you teeter yourself right on the edge of having to go to the bathroom. Also, if you're doing 16-hour days, I'm not joking, take a couple of sewing pins, you stick them into your palms while your palms are on your legs while you're in the gallery, in the dark, watching a set of slides, because as your hands start to slide forward, it pokes you in the palms. But he looks bored as fuck. But people are like, Trump's doing it for a reason, you fucking asshole, because he's working 24 hours a day, and when he's done, gas will be $1.50 a gallon, and everything will be cheaper. He's not in politics like you fucking Democrat fucking assholes and shut the government down for 2 months for no reason, you stupid fuck. See this right here? These are the people we need to get rid of too. We need to get rid of people like this guy too. I do agree with it. This photo is bullshit. Watch the clip. At most, he's tired. That's from working. I would agree with that. I don't think he's sleeping. I think it's because I don't think this is accurate. But I also don't swing the other way where Donald Trump's not going to get gas down to $1.50 a gallon. It's like, recently I saw somebody say there's this burger joint that sells burgers for less than $2. And they pay their employees $17 an hour. And they said, just don't believe the hype. If this place can do it, then every business can do it. Well, the problem with that is, where's their expansion money? It's great to use a one mom and pop burger joint as an example, but remember, when you're a company of 8, 9, 10 employees, that's a lot different than being a company of 80,000 employees. It's different than being a company of 2.1 million employees. And that's where evidence is evidence. Absolutely. Evidence is evidence. Anecdotal evidence is evidence. It's anecdotal, but it's still evidence. But what we need to do is we need to remember, sure, you found one, you found two, you found three. But if all three share common characteristics, well, then let's make sure that we're not trying to apply something that isn't going to work. Like somebody said, if you bill out $200 on an electrical job, but you only pay the electrician $60, there's something wrong with this. Well, there's not, because it's a 2-hour job. The customer pays $200. The the electrician gets $60. Well, the office worker who took the call, she gets paid $15 an hour, or he gets paid $15 an hour. So that has to come out of that $200. The truck, the parts, the tools, the gas, the truck's insurance, the liability insurance, the warehouse insurance, all that has to get paid out of that $200. And then don't forget, over here, there's the owner of the company who has to get paid too. Now, I'm not saying that I don't want workers to get paid better. But what I am saying is, people have got to stop believing this, that you provide more value than you do. Like, there was a guy, he was going on and on and on and on and on about how It doesn't matter if you invest the capital. If the worker doesn't show up, your product doesn't get made. And the person's absolutely right. They are absolutely positively correct. If I build a factory, but I don't pay people an appropriate wage, then my investment into my factory is meaningless, because nobody's gonna come and work for me. So I build a factory, I put $5 million into the factory, and I offer $12 an hour. And nobody comes and fills out applications. You're right, my factory is worthless. It won't generate me any money. But what about 13? What about 14? 14 sounds good enough for this person. Well, if 14 sounds good enough for this person, then maybe this person comes out of the woodwork and it's good enough for them. Maybe this person, 14, is good enough for them. If I can get enough people to come work for me for 14, then that's my number. That is the number I now realize I have to pay. Now, some people would say, well, if all the workers banded together, then all the workers would be better off. Okay, if you all banded together. But at what point is somebody going to break? And as soon as one person breaks, that's it. On the flip side, if no one is willing to take the risk to start the factory in the first place, that's dozens of workers with no place to work. That is the flip side of that. I'm not defending billionaires, because I think billionaires, I think the top 1%, I think the top 1/10 of 1% are making a giant mistake. I think the people at the top of the food chain who have all the wealth aren't realizing that they have a disproportionate amount of the wealth. So I put this chart up here a lot, and I know this chart is accurate because I made it. That little blue line at the bottom of 2025 is 50% of the population. 50% of the population lives on 2.5% of the wealth. The blue and the orange line combined is 90% of the population. 90% of the population lives on 32.8% of the wealth. This is where society is moving to the point where the homeless, the poor are going to eat the rich. If the rich were really smart, what they would do is they would give up about 10%. These guys would give up about 2. These guys would give up about 3. These guys would give up about 5. We get about 10% headspace up. We get these guys up. And here's why. Imagine how much better the bottom 50% of the population's lifestyle would be if you doubled the amount of wealth they had access to. Yeah, the rich, however, can just pay half the people to eliminate the other half. There's where you run into the rub. But if the truly rich were wise, the top, because remember, this purple bar is the top 0.1%. And this blue bar is the rest of the 0.9 of the 1%. Between the top 1% has 30.8% of the wealth. They could give up 5% of that and double the wealth at the bottom. But here's the bad side effect. if you don't teach the bottom 50% of the population what to do with that wealth, then they're going to piss it all away again. We gave almost $10,000 to some families during COVID, and they pissed it away. Some increased their lot in life. Hey, Karthos, I heard another train derailed by you, right next to a school for the deaf. When investigators arrived, nobody at the school said they heard anything. You've been curious on my opinion of Israel's mandatory military service. At the end of service discharge grant, which gives them a nice start in civilian life. Do you think a variation of that would be viable in the United States? Okay, so I do not believe that mandatory military service is a good thing in America because we had enough problems dealing with the people who volunteered to be there. We had enough problems with the people who volunteered to be members of the military. And so I don't want to even deal with the fuckheads who are going to be there. I mean, I want you to think about this number. You're talking about at any given point in time having approximately 77 million people in the armed forces. That's a fuckload of people to have to put into the armed forces. I don't think that benefits anybody. If you're not, you don't need to join the military to get somebody to motivate your ass. If you can't motivate yourself, very few people benefit from external motivation when there's no internal motivation. The draft is how we get the Civil War. Maybe. I think a draft for an offensive war gets us a civil war. I think a draft for a defensive war would be fine, but I believe the reality is, in a defensive war, I don't think we would need a draft. If there was another Pearl Harbor, I mean, because think about it. After 9/11, we didn't need to institute a draft. We spent 20 years at war after 9/11. We didn't need a draft. In fact, we drew down the size of the military. You need to trickle it down over time. Giving out lump sums generally don't work out well. Giving out money to people doesn't work out well at all, period. I was thinking more about a volunteer system where they serve in preparation for college and get a grant. We already have that. We already have that. It's called the GI Bill. Dipshits here keep raising the property tax on residential property to help pay for stuff, so the middle class is propping up the lower class. I'm paying for Jim Bob's 8th stint in court-mandated rehab. Yeah. We're having too much of that shit, too. My state is in debt because socialism is great until you run out of other people's money. If my daughter said to me today after school, I don't want to stay in Illinois anymore, you could pace my departure from this state with an egg timer. Seriously, the only thing that would hold up my departure from this state is my CD expiration date or CD maturity date. I would be out of this state the day after my CD matures. I would find a house, put in a bid on it, and I would have everything lined up so my CD matures, the money releases to me, I put that down as the down payment. I don't even give a shit. If my daughter said she didn't want to stay in the state anymore, I'd be fucking gone. Yeah, it would be a big pain in the ass with all my medical treatment. I would start commuting down to Florida, linking in new doctors. This state is a shithole. I think it depends on the nature of the war. There's far too many variables to even speculate on that. No, there's really not. If we have an offensive war and we institute a draft, it'll start a civil war. Because there's nothing going on in the world right now that needs America to be involved in. We don't need to kill any more Americans for anything on the planet. America is the biggest threat to world peace. There's no other country on the planet that's a big threat to world peace. What was Iran doing? Minding their own fucking business. And we bombed them. If you tried to institute a draft right now to put boots on the ground in Iran, oh, this country would tear itself apart. Everyone can agree they want lower taxes, but not many people think about taxes. Siamese twins spending, hard to lower taxes if you keep raising spending. When you start talking about what cutting spending means, the folks then are, whoa, pump the brakes. You're right. Because the big problem is we shouldn't be doing welfare at the federal level. We should be doing welfare at the state level. The federal government was never designed nor intended to take care of the people. The states were designed and intended to take care of the people. How concerned am I about the changes in military leadership? I'm very concerned, especially when this guy should be automatically removed as the acting Navy secretary.
Be attacked by the left and call me white supremacist, but I have one ask for them. It's just when you give me my hood, make sure it's got the little slits and not the circles so I can see better.
Captain Hunkow, thank you very much for joining.
What the fuck? What the fuck did you just say? What the fuck? What? Hold on. What?
This is great. I know I'll be attacked by the left and call me white supremacist, but I have one ask for them. It's just when you give me my hood, make sure it's got the little slits and not the circles so I can see better.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You're the acting Secretary of the Navy. And you just rolled in. You just rolled in white supremacy, KKK, lynchings, all of it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You shouldn't even be willing to take the job. There should be nobody willing to take the job of Secretary of the Navy because of why the Secretary of the Navy was removed. The Secretary of the Navy was removed for failure to punish the former Navy individual who, they wanted to bring him back on active duty orders to penalize him for, Secretary of the Navy John Flynn, because Flynn would not bring back. Here, I'll just play it.
Reportedly butted heads when Phelan refused to ignore a recent federal judge's ruling that said punishing Senator Mark Kelly for making a video in which he reminded military officers of their constitutional duty to not follow illegal orders would violate his First Amendment rights. Hegseth and Phelan reportedly butted heads when Phelan refused to ignore a recent federal judge's ruling that said punishing Senator Mark Kelly for making a video in which he reminded military officers of their constitutional duty to not follow illegal orders would violate his First Amendment rights.
So, what you have here, and our country is fucked. Our country is fucking cooked. You got Sec War, right? And he has SecNav, who's told to bring a senator back onto active duty to reduce him in rank so that lowers his pension, while a judge has already said no. Okay, so SecNav says to SecWar, no, I will not do that because, number one, I know it's wrong. Number two, a judge has already said it's wrong. So SecWar says, you're fired. I'm going to promote somebody else to your job. What the fuck is wrong with the Secretary of War? Do you not understand that a judge already said you fucking can't do it? Isn't that one of the highest duties required of any military officer, to uphold and remind others of their oath to the Constitution? I, Jalan, having been appointed a captain of the United States Air Force, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office I am about to enter. Nowhere in it does it say I will obey the orders of the officers appointed over me, or the orders of the president. That is the enlisted oath. The officer oath is not to the president. The officer's oath is to the Constitution. This is called your Form 1. This is the DD Form 1. There might be something important about it. If it's the fucking Form 1. This is what gives me authority as an Air Force officer. This is still valid. There's a little teeny tiny number on the bottom of it. Mine is still valid. My commission is still live. I have been retired. My commission has not been. I remain subject to recall until 65, or until they finally send me a letter that says, good Sparky, we're never calling you back. Enlisted, everybody but the Navy, they do 8 years. Navy's a little bit different. Everybody else, you either do 6 and 2, 4 and 4. It's called the IRR, the Individual Ready Reserve. But yes, it's not. Is Kelly 60 plus? Yeah, he turned 60 in 2024. So I don't even know how he's. Because he's. Remember, he's Navy. Navy has different recall rules. So, yeah, it's all a fucking goat rope. But you know what? All the details aside about that, you're talking about bringing a guy back on active duty to reduce him in rank, to reduce his pension, because you're upset that he reminded military officers that they can refuse illegal orders. What is wrong with our country? What is wrong with this shit? It's just like, this is our leadership. They don't know how to do fucking basic math.
A conversation that I had yesterday with one of the Democratic senators who was questioning me during a hearing, and she was ridiculing President Trump for his math, and she was saying it's mathematically impossible to have any drug drop by 600% cost, which he had claimed. And I said, well, if the drug was $100 and it raised the price to $600, that would be a 600% rise. Well, if it drops from 600 to 100, that's a 600% savings. And
no, it's not.
The president used that mathematical device to illustrate the magnitude of the theft that has been happening against our country and our people, as he said.
No, okay. Yes, you can have more than 100%. Okay, so I have 0. And now I suddenly have 100, right? So I start at 0. Or I can't start at 0. I have to start at 1. But he said, if I have 100 increase, this is not a 100% increase. And it scares the shit out of me. If I start at 1 and I end up at 100, it's a 9,900% increase. The sad part is, you can go from 1 to 100 to 600, right? So you go from 1 to 100, and this is a 9,900% increase. And then you go from 100 to 600, and this is a 500% increase. But now you're not fucking worried about. Yeah, 100% increase would be fucking 2. Ready? I have a cracker because I'm nauseous. And I say to the nurse, I'm really nauseous. So the nurse says, I'm going to give you 100% more crackers. So now I have 2 crackers. I had 1. I have 100% more than I had. Now that you have 600, each 1% equals 6. So when you go from 600 to 0, that's 100% decrease. I can pour this out. And since these are the same size, I cannot, if this is empty and this is full, I cannot overfill this. No matter how much I decrease that. And do you feel like you want to slap? Yeah, I'll get to that because, I saw what you said. Do you feel like you want to slap the shit out of your government? But meanwhile, our government is in charge of the IRS. They can't math, yet you get penalized if you fuck up your math. Could I sue for not receiving payment for whatever product they say is a 600% decrease? Particularly since they've doubled down. They fucking quadrupled down on this fucking math bullshit. But I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share this problem, and it's more widespread than you think. I took over a process, and when it first was happening, it was taking us 56 hours to do something, and I got pulled out of my assignment. I got sent to school to learn a new job, and the day I got back, they said, you need to get this number down as low as you can. And I said, all right. So I went home and I read everything over a weekend. I asked for a day off. I called my boss. I said, can I have one more day off? Because I said, I'm doing that thing that I do. And my boss was like, I'm gonna stop over at your house. I said, sure. My boss came over to my house. I had dry erase boards in my basement. I had Post-it notes up. I'm Sheldon fucking Cooper, okay? I had Post-it notes up. I had books open, AFI open. I had shit stapled to the wall, shit hanging from the ceiling. My boss walks in and he's like, okay, you're doing your thing. He's like, take the rest of the day. He's like, take tomorrow too if you need it. Don't rush this. So I see that it takes us 56 hours to do this task. and I find out the absolute fucking fastest we could possibly do this is 14 hours. This is the absolute fastest we could do it. And the reason why 14 hours becomes the absolute fastest is because you get the alert. It takes 2 hours to gen up orders. You got to put the crew into crew rest for 10 hours. And the crew's from alert to back on their planes is 2 hours for this type of mission. Other missions have different priorities. Other missions, I can put the crew in the alert center and this bottom 2 becomes 15 minutes. But for this particular mission, it's 14. That's as low as I can get. So, first time we do it, my boss says, "What's your target goal?" I said, "My target goal is 18. And I walked in and I briefed everybody and I said, "My target goal is 18. Everybody in the room told me I was fucking crazy. They're like, "There's no way." They're like, "Son, you have to understand something. It has never been done. We have never," I said, "I don't give a shit." I said, I don't know what your limb facts are. You told me 2 hours, 10 hours, 2 hours. So you better be able to do that. That's what your book says. That's what you told me. I said, based on everything else, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna get this shit done in 18 hours. The very first time I ran the exercise, we were out the door in 20 hours. The wing commander came and said to me, "My goal was 28. You just crushed my goal by 8 hours." I said at 20 hours, I said, "I think we can do better." I said, "I think we can shave a little." And we did. The problem here is people are so fucking worried about doing numbers or the talking points. I don't give a shit. I did this whole thing. People came and visited. They benchmarked. They looked. They analyzed. They gave out awards. They bought people lunch. My boss was like, "You just want a day off, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I don't want any of that shit. I don't want to be up on stage. I don't want to have my photo taken. None of that. If there's a medal to be had, fucking chuck it in the fucking drawer with the rest of them." I said, "I already have a commendation medal. I already have an achievement medal. Unless you're giving me an MSM, I don't have one of those. I have to show up. Just throw that shit in the drawer. I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. It's not important to me." But now we got 600% decrease. No, you fuckwit. 100% is the lowest decrease. Disney did not pay me to come visit them. Disney reduced their prices. Disney didn't write me a check to come see them. But the worst part is, MAGA, some of them are literally arguing with the Democrats because the Democrats are saying it's not even mathematically possible. It's not mathematically possible. Well, how the fuck do we live in this society? How do we possibly recover this society? I don't think we can. Every day, I don't think we can save this society, and I'm not being funny. I don't think that we can save this society. Ukrainian sky map protects U.S. airbase. The United States has turned to Ukrainian developers and has already installed the Ukrainian Sky Map air defense system at the important U.S. Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. This is the first time technologies tested in Ukraine's 4-year war against Russia have been used to protect U.S. military installations from Iranian attacks. SkyMap is a system that collects data from thousands of acoustic sensors, radars, and cameras to create a digital threat map. This allows the military to instantly detect enemy drones. We don't deserve the Ukraine. Great. It only costs the US 120 billion, of course, includes the skim to the oligarchs in Kiev. What the fuck is wrong with people? Look, we have treated the Ukraine poorly for 4 years. These people are not asking for much. They want beans, bullets, blankets, band-aids, bombs. JD Vance, dude, been getting the clap from Erica Kirk. I'm not going to speak ill of Erica Kirk because she lost her husband. Let me know when Charlie's been dead a year. In my opinion, she gets a pass. Unless she does some publicly stupid shit, she gets a pass for her year of mourning. Oh, VD Vance. Oh, got it. I didn't see VD Vance. I also like to see the Justice Department drops their inquiry into federal chairman Jerome Powell. The U.S. Justice Department is dropping its investigation of Chairman Jerome Powell, paving the way for the Senate to confirm Kevin Warsh, the president's nominee to head the central bank. Yeah, because you figured out you can't remove the guy while you're investigating the guy. JD Vance did serve in the Marine Corps. He will try to stop the war in Ukraine and Iran. JD Vance served in the Marine Corps. But he wasn't, like, he was a Marine. He gets all the respect that every Marine gets. But he left as a Lance Corporal. And I think what people need to, or I'm sorry, he was a corporal. He did not experience direct combat. So JD Vance gets the respect from me that every Marine gets. But I outranked JD Vance by a lot. JD Vance served for 4 years. JD Vance did one deployment. He served as a combat correspondent, which is a military journalist. Somebody said JD Vance deserves a lot of respect because he went to law school. What I will explain to people about law school is this. Law school, like everything else, is directed education. There are many lawyers who know me and say I would have done well in law school. Law school was one of the routes I was going to take. I don't respect JD Vance as a person because JD Vance says a lot of ignorant shit. I respect that he graduated Marine boot camp. I respect him because he did what less than 1% of America does and served his country. But beyond that, JD Vance doesn't get my respect because, in my opinion, he's a racist, bigoted, condescending piece of shit who doesn't understand war crimes. He literally said, who gives a shit, or I don't give a shit, when questioned about Venezuelan sailors who were killed, who we didn't follow international law. Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, and JD Vance should all be tried at The Hague for war crimes. I'm sorry, but we can't move towards a global society if the world's largest and strongest military can act however it wants, and then in Venezuela, and then just a couple of months later get its ass kicked financially by Iran. We've hit apparently 11,000 strategic targets in Iran. And yet somehow Iran still has the capability to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed. We have a president that calls it the Hormuz Strait. It's the Strait of Hormuz, man. Like, you can't somebody put the right name on Donald Trump's cue cards for him? It really bothers me that our president is this inept. It bothers me greatly. What bothers me here as well is, after 2 failed votes, Mike Johnson unveils new plan to extend key U.S. spy powers. Speaker Mike Johnson is forging ahead with his latest proposal to renew a key American spy power. His bill is largely unchanged from a previous plan, which failed in a series of overnight votes earlier this month. Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, is set to expire on April 30th. FISA 702 allows U.S. intelligence agencies to intercept the electronic communication of foreign nationals located outside the United States. Some of the nearly 350,000 foreign targets whose communications are collected under the provision are in touch with Americans whose calls, texts, and emails could end up in the trove of information available to the federal government for review. Okay. What I would like to know is, why would Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act ever expire? If this is intercepting the communication of foreign nationals located outside of the United States, why the fuck do we keep renewing this shit? Yes, you have approval to do this. Do it. For almost 2 decades, privacy-minded lawmakers from both parties have sought to require specific court approval before federal law enforcement can conduct a targeted review of an American's information gathered through the program. The lack of any such warrant requirement helped sink an effort last week to extend the program for 18 months, as well as a separate vote on a 5-year renewal. Good, yes. Why? Because at this point, if Section 702, you want to gather intelligence on foreign nationals located outside the United States. Awesome, do that. As soon as the communication is involved with somebody inside the United States. Is that person inside the United States? Yes, get a fucking court order. Everybody in the United States, whether or not they are a citizen or not, enjoys the protections of due process of the Bill of Rights. Unless something in the Constitution specifically says citizen, then it's person in the United States. Now, I don't like heavy-handed, overreaching government agencies. We were talking about this in a Discord last night. Our entire country is fucked when it comes to our criminal justice system. If you're not aware of this, 97% of criminal cases end in some sort of plea bargain. Of the remaining 3%, at the federal level, 90% result in a conviction. The state's a little bit harder to do because each state tracks differently. So I want, for the moment, I just want you to consider that the states is probably plus or minus 90%. So what this means is, I want you to think about this here for a second. If you get accused of a crime that you didn't do, I'm going to use December 31st as the date of the alleged crime so we can just show this nice and neatly. So on 31 December 2025, there was a crime. On 1 January, you're arrested. You might spend until 1 October all the way to 1 January in pretrial. And then you have a court case. And then if you're convicted, you spend a year in jail. But you already spent 9 to 12 months out on bail. Your freedoms were already limited by a bail agreement for 9 to 12 months. No, there's no time served. If you're in jail, that's one thing. But that's why I said pre-trial. You're out on bail for 9 to 12 months. Your freedom's restricted. And then you get found guilty at trial. Well, you get no credit for the time you were out on bail. Or on 1 January, your lawyer comes to you and says, hey, look, we can take a plea, 2 years probation, and then it'll end in a dismissal. There's a ton of fucking people that end up spending time on 2 years of probation because otherwise they're going to spend $30, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 on their lawyer. Because remember, if you're on pre-trial, your case is going to get called every 30 to 60 days. So every 30 to 60 days, your lawyer has to go to court on your behalf. That's easily an hour or two of lawyer time up at the courthouse. That's also 3 or 4 hours of paralegal time prepping the lawyer because he doesn't remember your fucking case. And then it's an hour or two of paralegal time typing up the notes and contacting you and letting you know that your lawyer went to fucking court for you. Shit, man, you can get billed for fucking 2 hours of lawyer time and 8 hours of paralegal time and really for a 15-minute appearance. But you have to pay the lawyer from the time he leaves the office or the time he leaves the house till the time he gets to the office or the time he gets to the house. Yeah, billables of lawyers are expensive, but even paralegals aren't cheap. So some people are like, what the fuck? I might as well just take the pretrial diversion or the probation. But then you end up, because then, right, you'll normally have, if you get 2 years probation, you'll have a handful of probation check-ins at court. But your lawyer doesn't show up to those. Keep in mind, while you're out on bail, a bail violation is a really bad fucking thing. What Faye Lynn said, don't leave the state, don't own a gun, don't go to wherever the fuck the crime happened. I've seen my guys, when I was, or girls, I had to work my ass off on like a Christmas miracle. Girl got a job making double her salary, and it was 2 blocks. 2 fucking blocks out of St. Louis County. Her arrangement was her probation allowed her to be in Illinois, obviously, and down here in St. Clair or Madison County, your probation gives you St. Louis County because it's considered the nearest metropolis because it's where a lot of the hospitals are, and they don't want to dick around with they don't want to fucking be bothered getting giving you permission. Yeah, and depending on the crime you're accused of, you could catch a felony charge for a bail violation. This girl got a great job, but we had to work full court press to even get on the judge's docket at like 5:45 on a Thursday. And the judge is like, well, why should I grant this? She's going to double her income. It's 2 blocks. It's 2 blocks. The judge was hesitant to give her the 2 block exception. Why? Well, if I give an exception, then I'm going to have to start giving everybody an exception. How about we fucking recognize 97% of court cases are done with a plea bargain. Let's also not forget that this individual person got charged. Remember we talked about the other day that you can be a victim and a perpetrator? She was a victim and a perpetrator. She got hit. She scratched her partner, and then he broke her leg. But because she inflicted bodily injury, she was also charged. And it's just because they both took a plea bargain because they could both get dismissals. It's just fucked, man. It's fucked all the way around. So we're talking about passing laws again that shave a little fat off of the Constitution. Look, man, I love my due process. We should never be shaving any due process off. I'm willing to risk giving up my rights and privileges as a citizen of our great military and country. I have spoken with many in our military who say FISA is necessary in order to protect our troops overseas, as well as our people here at home, from any threat of foreign terror attacks. It has already prevented many such attacks, and it is very important that it remain in full force and effect. I agree with you. I agree with the idea that FISA, if the Democrats, and I very rarely will blame one party or the other, but we got to get all the undocumented people out of this fucking country. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about the legal immigrants. I'm not talking about the 49.5 million people that are here legally. And I'm not really even talking about the people that are here after their visa expires. We'll get to them. But we got fucking people here that have committed rape, murder, theft, arson, burglary. And yet the Democrats want to protect those people. I very rarely blame one party for something. But on this one, can we all just get together and recognize that we want to talk about the illegal aliens, not the undocumented immigrants? Can everybody get together and just say that shit is wrong? Like, why does everything have to be touchy-feely? Like, I'm gonna venture this into something that's probably gonna earn me some booze, and that's okay, because I don't do the show to be polite. I don't do the show to be to not have an opinion on things. I am getting tired of this bullshit in our society, and people can't have an opinion on this. Once again, a reminder, trans people are more important than your nostalgia. Hogwarts Legacy 2 to be announced soon. Pegged for release next year. Okay, now, I know it doesn't make me a popular person with my response. See, this right here is the problem. Who are you to tell me what is more important to me? If you phrased it better, if you appealed to my humanity, my morality, my compassion, I might meet you halfway. However, as written, you're dictating to me what my terms are, which requires me to oppose you with all of my effort. Rowling is anti-transgender. So the transgender community doesn't believe in supporting J.K. Rowling because J.K. Rowling gets money, and then she uses that money to oppose transgender. I got to be careful here. Transgender agendas. The problem is, not every part of the transgender agenda should be supported. Not all of it should be supported. Rowling is anti-trans, however, I grew up on Harry Potter. Why do we have to force people to not like Harry Potter? It's an art we like. Right. That's the thing. You will not successfully bring people on a side when you make enemies of them and you're pleased for support. I hate you. Now help me fight these other people. Right. My daughter, for example, I had a really big problem with my daughter and a group of friends. And here's why I have a really big problem with my daughter and a group of friends. My daughter and a group of friends were part of the LGBTQA plus alliance. They didn't have all the letters in there at the high school. But what I said to them once, I said, this is your sexual orientation. This is your gender identity. Depending on which Q you're using, could be either. This is your allies, right? And this is everything else. You can't have an LGBTQA plus anything because are you fighting for gender identity or are you fighting for sexual orientation? The thing is, I don't even know. They were the officership of the LGBT Alliance. They used to be called the Gay Straight Alliance, but then they added the LGBTQA plus Alliance. Whatever. Call it whatever the fuck you want. So they were all over at my house one night. I walked downstairs. They were all spending the night at my house. I grabbed a slice of pizza. I said, so, officer boardship people, what's your agenda? They said, what do you mean? I said, what are you fighting for? Well, what do you mean? What do you mean, what do I mean? With your Gay Straight Alliance, what's your agenda? What are you trying to achieve? Like, for example, in the 90s, there were a couple of girls at the all-girl school that wanted to go to prom with each other. They didn't want to bring a boy to prom. They just wanted to go with each other because they didn't like the idea that dances were, they didn't like the idea that they had to bring a boy to go to the dance. So what they had done all their previous years for proms and homecomings were just invited a casual friend, and then the casual friend knew he was just going to hang out with the guys, opportunity to dress up and be in the friends' photos, and then that was it. And the girls just said, this is stupid. Why do we have to bring a boy with us? Why do we have to plus one along a dude? Why can't we just go with each other? The school was like, well, because we're a Catholic school and that's inappropriate. It's a fucking dance, guys. Come on. I didn't go to my senior prom because I thought it was a waste of fucking money. But I was an emancipated minor and my girlfriend was 18. So we got a hotel at the Drake, and our friends were at prom, and the dean came up and said, you can't have a hotel room here. And I looked at the dean and I said, I can have a hotel room anywhere the fuck I please. I'm not attending prom, and she's 18. So she can get a hotel room anywhere she damn pleases, and the room's in her name. I'm her guest. And the dean lost his fucking nutsack all over. He's like screaming. I'm like, excuse me, you're going to have to calm down or I'm going to ask the hotel security to remove you away from me. Because right now I'm not a student. And so they were there and my friends were there, and I walked down and I talked to them for a few minutes. And I said, all right, guys, I don't want to get you in trouble. And then the dean came over to me. He's like, well, you can't be around the ballroom because we have it rented. I said, wouldn't dream of going near the ballroom. And he said, well, they can't come up to your room after prom. Well, 4 of them can, because I'm their legal guardian. He said, I don't know why you're on a power trip. I don't know why you're tripping the fuck out. Calm down. It's not that serious. And he was just going on. I said, hey, Joe, can we just be real for a second? He's like, sure. I said, I have my own apartment. I said, I don't know what activity you think you're stopping here tonight. But we could just go to my apartment if we were going to drink or do drugs or have sex. And why are you like this? Like, what is this accomplishing? I said, I can tell you right now which kids' parents aren't even in the country. Said half these rich kids that go to this school, they have like a caretaker that lives in a servant house out in the rich part of the fucking town. Why are you like this? Why do you behave this way? I was like, I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna sit on my balcony. I'm gonna wave to my friends as they come in. With your permission, I think my friends would like it if you would say it's okay if we throw on some somewhat nice clothes, come down here to jump in some photographs, and then we'll go back upstairs. You can tell me no. You could tell me no. It'd be nice if you let us. But outside of your realm of control, once the prom is over, you can't tell the people that they can't come upstairs because they're all registered guests. Well, we have a policy, yeah, and none of the fucking people that are coming upstairs are students at our school. Their ideology, it could be past experience from, their ideology has run out of legitimate conflicts to fight, so now they're forced to manufacture non-existent conflicts to fight just to justify their existence. I don't want to say that. That's a fair assumption. But I honestly ask this often. I don't know what transgender people want anymore. I don't, like, as far as I'm concerned, it was mission accomplished for transgender individuals. I honestly don't know what we're trying to achieve now. If somebody could tell me, I could advocate for it. But I don't think it's going to be anything that I don't already advocate for everybody. Treat people, if you're not going to treat people well, then shut the fuck up and leave people alone. I don't even understand the trans concept. I have no idea what they mean by feeling a gender. Normal trans people want to blend into society. Radical trans people want to look like a man but dress like a girl and still be called a man. Right, and Puddles can jump in on this one because Puddles, I think you would find it fair that said it for your first part of that normal trans. Now notice, Puddles, not me, Puddles said normal trans people. I didn't fucking say it. Puddles did. And Puddles is a part of that community. Normal trans people want to blend into society. Normal trans people just want to be left the fuck alone, like everybody else wants to be left the fuck alone. The second half of that statement, they want to look like a man but dress like a girl but still be called a man. I'm sorry, if you have a beard and you're in a dress, I'm gonna call you the bearded lady. Or I'm gonna call you sir. Or I'm not gonna interface with you. It feels like a viral trend fad more than anything else, right? Because, like, yeah, hey you, hey fuckwit. Because I was raised, ma'am, sir, miss. And if you don't like ma'am, sir, or miss, you're gonna get fuckwit. Because fuckwit is gender neutral. It's like Coach Carter. Sir. I ain't no sir. Are you a madam? I don't give a shit about, like, I don't give a shit about anybody's ideologies, anybody's agendas. I do think this has become a trend. I came out in 2013 and all of a sudden it's exploded in popularity. My thing with all that is, truthfully, I don't know what people want. What I want for everybody is I want for everybody to be able to be respectful, be respected, get what they need as quickly as possible, throw an iguana, give a fist bump, and get the fuck out of everybody's way. That's all I want. Give a, like yesterday. We were all lining up at the grocery store. We got this little tiny town market. It's run by teenagers. They do a good job most of the time. I got in line because I know how they get up there. And there was a woman, all she had was a 2-liter of soda. And she walked up, and I was just like, ma'am, go ahead. I had a cart full of groceries. And she kind of looked at me, and I was like, if she says a fucking word to me about calling her ma'am, I'm probably gonna lose my shit. I am not in the fucking mood today to have that bullshit. My wife grabbed my arm because she could immediately see like the veins, and because the woman gave me this look, and I was like, please, for the love of God, I'm not in the mood. I'm trying to be nice, and she just got in front of me. She paid for her 2-liter and she left. Look, I understand. I'm starting to look like grandpa. I am a grandpa. I've been a grandpa for a long time. I don't have to call anybody ma'am. I'm not required to anymore. Socioeconomic status, I'm a grandfather. The only people I have to call ma'am are people that I know are great-grandparents, societal-wise. I still call older gentlemen sir because it's respect. If you don't like the respect, what do you want me to do? Hey, dick sucker, get the fuck up here and pay for your soda. I don't want your fucking greasy, nasty ass breath on the back of my neck as you lean forward about why I wasn't nice to you. I don't want to have to fucking throw a high elbow to get you off of me. Go in front of me. That way there's a cart between you, me, and your terrible body odor. Get the fuck up here. Like, do I have to be blatantly rude? Or can I just be polite and say, you only have the one item, go right ahead? A wise man said, motherfucker is gender neutral and everyone is a motherfucker. Yeah. Trans people have used the bathroom of their choice for decades. You just had a trans woman going in the ladies' room, popping a squat and leaving instead of taking a shit in a fucking production, whipping out a non-transition dick, slapping everybody in the face with it. Yeah, like this Lily Turno nonsense. Like, look. You do not need to take your phone out in a fucking bathroom. I think we can all agree to this standard. Your phone can come out of your... President Jalan is going to lay down... I'm gonna breathe some flame right now. I'm gonna spit flame. I'm gonna cook. Your phone stays in your fucking pocket, okay? Unless you're in the stall. If you're in the stall, your phone can come out of your pocket. Yeah, she was recording in a bathroom. If you're in the stall because you ate some bad Thai food, your phone can be out of your pocket. If there's a medical emergency in the bathroom, you can take your phone out and dial 911. But your camera function should never be in use in a public bathroom. Single person public bathroom. Ladies, if you're in the audience, I want to tell you something. The skeezers that you're sending risque pictures to from a public bathroom, I just want to let you know, if you're an 8 and you send me a risque photo from a Target single bathroom, you just became a 7 or a 6. Don't be like pulling down your pants in no fucking Target bathroom. I'm gonna worry you have hepatitis or some shit. It's not sexy. It's not erotic. It's fucking nasty. Go wash your ass. Ain't nobody need to see that. I think I would be smashing a phone if I was ever recording in a bathroom. Yep. If you look at the trend of joining LGBT groups, there's a reason why young girls are overrepresented. A young girl who entered her sexuality is way for physical than boys and is really hard on girls' psyche. It's just biology, so it's clearly somewhat a trend, like girls and boys have already explored the sexuality with different groups in the past. Ooh, that's a good one. I like ones that cause the brain to slow down and think. So you're not wrong. So don't think that the gears are grinding. You're right. I would agree with you very much so. I would agree with you two different ways. Well, yeah, I'll agree with you two different ways. When I was a young guy, it was all boys in the neighborhood except for one family had 3 girls. And the girl was a tomboy. She was everyone's seen her naked because we skinny dipped at the pond, we skinny dipped at the lake, we changed in front of each other. Everybody saw her naked. But nobody gave her shit about it as we got older. One of the guys in the group one time gave her shit for it, and he got hit several times by several people in the group, and he knocked that shit off. Because it's like, once she started to go through puberty, she started wearing a bathing suit under her clothes all the time. So the rest of us are jumping in the water, and she's just taking off her shorts and her shirt, and she's got a bathing suit on. And then in high school, I had almost all female friends. But remember, I told you, I was also in college. So I was constantly carrying around books. So I could read in a room with people talking. So I'd be sitting in like my friend's bedroom. Her parents wouldn't be home. Not my girlfriend, just my friend. I'd be reading, and the girls would be there, and she'd be like, "Oh, I gotta change." And so now this is how I should have known I was autistic as a teenager. She says, "I gotta change." I'm just sitting there reading. Most of my female friends changed in front of me. A few of them would be like, "Hey, Jay, get out." I'd be like, "Oh, what?" Because I was just oblivious. I'm not like peering over the top of the books. I'm not peering over the top of the books when they're skinning, because you're my friend. You're my friend. I'm not interested in seeing you naked. I'm also more interested in figuring out what happened with the guillotine in the French Revolution, right? I think we put too much. Yeah, I got to change. Okay, I got to get to this next chapter. Right, exactly. Exactly that. I think the problem we have is that too many people are caught up with hold on, it's after my normal show time. I'm helping this woman. She constantly has money problems, so she has to move money around. Come on. All right. So we have put so much bullshit onto everything. Like, little girl in the neighborhood plays baseball on the boys' baseball team when she's 5, 6, and 7. Then all of a sudden at about 8 or 9, it's not seen as cool to have a girl on your team anymore. Why? Girl's batting .285. What's the problem with having a girl on your team? But then other guy, immature, and of course you're 7, 8, and 9. Of course you're immature. I will go over political candidates as we move into more into the important races. I will get into candidates, but right now, how do we know which races are important? Because all these states are redrawing all their fucking political zones. They're gerrymandering. We don't even know. The federal elections we usually dive into a lot. The state elections we'll start getting into here over the summer as races heat up. Because I love looking at people's platforms. But you have the boys on the team get made fun of because they're on a team with a girl. Who cares? Who cares? Trans people blend in. You never knew they were trans. Now we have people dressing like girls, looking like men, beard and everything, entering women's restrooms. That is weird to any sane person. Yeah. What I can tell you, my view on most candidates is easy to tell, though. The yellow column is mine. See, the red column is primarily the Republicans' plan. The blue column is the Democrats' plan, and the yellow column is mine. Like, what you're going to hear now is Donald Trump wants to raise the Department of Defense budget to $1.5 trillion. That's great. What $700 million worth of programs are we going to... I'm sorry, $700 billion worth of programs are we going to cut? Because we keep talking about the rich have to pay more. I believe the rich have to pay more, but not today. I believe we need to balance the budget. We need to stop pissing away money. And then we can talk to the rich about expecting them to pay more taxes. But right now, what people don't comprehend is the top 1% pay 40% of the taxes. And no matter how much they pay in taxes, we end up further and further into tax. I'm not into lowering taxes because, and here's why. We can't be into lowering taxes because we have a national debt. What I'm into is capping spending. Because in order for us to be a successful country, in order for us to provide all these socialist programs, the first thing we have to do is have a balanced budget, and we got to pay down the debt. What people don't realize is 18 to 19.5 cents out of every tax dollar goes to pay interest on the national debt. Interest on the national debt. So think about that. $1 trillion of our tax income goes to pay interest on the national debt. I believe the best way to help Americans is not to keep raising the minimum wage, but instead to cap spending for 3 years. And to cap spending for 3 years against the dollar amount collected in 2025. So fiscal year 2026, fiscal year 2027, 2028, and 2029 all have to be run on $5.25 trillion, with $4.25 trillion going into programs and $1 trillion going into paying down the national debt. Which means we're not going to be able to bomb the shit out of stuff. We're not going to be able to do rampant expansions of infrastructure like the Biden infrastructure plan. We won't be able to do that again. What we need to do, though, is we need to look at systems that should be silos. We know silo funding works because it works for Social Security. So we know that a Social Security trust can be established to pay for Social Security. So then why can't we establish a Homeland Security trust for airports and ports where after 3 years of people paying in their airport security fee, their 9/11 transportation tax, all these different things, then why can't we stop moving that money all the way around? That way we never have TSA agents not getting paid again. I'm with you. Let's have them stop pissing away tax money. I do wish income tax could be adjusted or lowered. Capping is new to me, though. We'll have to look into it. Yeah. So what we do is this, right? Oh, Clinton said the reason China is doing better than the U.S. is that China hasn't gone to war. U.S. spends on war and China spends on infrastructure. You're right. You are 100% correct. The reason why China is doing better than us is that China has the ability to defend itself. But China doesn't run around the world trying to be the world cop. If China and the United States were swapped places, China would never have done to Canada and Mexico what the United States did. Right. The big thing is, China says, we will spend our excess on defense. America says we will spend our excess on our people. First of all, in order to seriously threaten the United States, you have to land troops in Canada or Mexico. Well, if we had good relations with Canada and Mexico, we would say, hey, we're going to spend a little less on our military for the next couple of years because we have to fix bridges and roads and schools and hospitals and rural clinics and all these other things. Hey, Canada and Mexico, just to let you know, we're going to be dialing back our military spending a little bit. You good? Can we cooperate? And they'd say, yeah. They'd say, yeah, we can cooperate. What we did with Donald Trump's art of the deal with Canada and Mexico was fucking dumb. President Jalan, I want to build a wall, but I don't want Mexico to pay for it. I want to build a wall, and I want to build a wall, and I'll show you where I want to build it. I don't want to build a wall on the border of the US and Mexico, because then I have to build 1,200 miles of wall, and Mexico gets stuck with all the people that are trying to move through. I want to cut a deal with Mexico. Don't mess with me right now. What I want to do is I want to cut a deal with Mexico, and I want to put a wall on the Guatemalan border. Or maybe I'll cut a fucking deal. Somebody brought it up to me one time. They said, why don't you cut a deal with Guatemala? And why don't you put a wall on the border of Guatemala with Honduras and El Salvador? Or maybe we cut a deal with Costa Rica. Or shit, maybe we cut the deal with Panama. Maybe we realize that if we put a fucking wall on the border of Panama, we get rid of all the people coming from South America, and then Mexico is going to be able to deal with the people that are illegally moving. Right? Do I think the American dream, you're going to have to give me a few more words. I wonder how crazy well our country would be with the same military budget the rest of the world seems to adopt. Our country wouldn't be very well, because remember, our military is a avenue of vertical progression for the disimpoverished. I've had a lot of people, when I was a commander, section commander, flight commander, I had a lot of people I saw in the military come from nothing, get college degrees, get training, get jobs, because they went to the military, they had no other choices. Let's see. Is the American dream still obtainable in this day and age? Now that's a question. And the answer is no. The American dream is dead. I think my generation is the last generation that the American dream was a thing. Can you still be successful in America? Yes. However, do you need people to tell you a lot more at a lot earlier age? Yes. Give an example. I I don't have any younger siblings. I have younger foster siblings, younger cousin who's like a sister to me. My younger cousin is 5 years younger than me. We're really close in age. She lives in a $650,000 house. I live in a $300,000 house. I make $174 a year, depending on interest rates of the year, yields, rates, whatever. I make about $174. She makes nowhere near that. I went to visit her and I said, "Why the fuck you live in a $650,000 house?" She says, "It's the only house I could find in the neighborhood for the schools I wanted for my kids." Okay. How the fuck are you ever going to afford this? The American dream isn't having a $650,000 house. And I think that's where a lot of people have gone full Riri, and you never go full Riri. 4 walls and a roof, 3 hots and a cot. Do you have that? Yes, build from that. I remember, and this is the flex. I remember being a young man, being able to walk 2 blocks to the bar. I had a car, but why the fuck would I drive to the bar? Walk 2 blocks to the bar, go in. I really like this one bar's burgers. I went in, got a burger. If there was somebody cute to talk to, I talked to him. If there wasn't, ate my burger, got a drink, watched whatever was on, like usually the Bulls game or the Blackhawks game. If nobody interesting showed up to talk to, I had my burger, my one drink with my meal. I'd hang around for one drink, see if anybody I knew showed up. If nobody showed up, I went home. The flex was talking to a woman, shouldn't call them girls, woman, get a conversation going. Hour and a half later, she like, "So you live around here?" "Yeah, I live 2 blocks away." "Apartment?" "No." "House." "By yourself?" "Yeah." "Parents?" "No, I have a house." Ding! Big bright doe eyes, looking like Bambi. Bambi's mom. Meanwhile, guys were like, "I can't believe that you put all your time into this house. You never go to the game, you never go to the club." Yeah, because I want to fucking be living in a 3-bedroom apartment with five dudes. This whole fucking place smells like stale cigarettes and gym socks. Like, everywhere I go in this fucking apartment when I come to visit you guys, there's like cum rags everywhere. Like, no wonder why you guys don't get laid. This place is a fucking sty. It's because nobody ever grabbed any of them and said, "Hey, the American dream is 4 walls and a roof, 3 hots and a cot, and build from there." I lived in a 988 square foot house. My starter home was 988 square feet. My entire first house fits on my first floor of this house. People are confusing the ability to live with the ability to live the lifestyle they want. With the current workforce, it's just easier to psych people out because people don't have the same attitude. So that makes it harder for people to chase a dream since they have to start over a lot. Okay, I want to put this up. I want to put this up because this is a really important one, but there's as a hiring manager, as a supervisor, there is a completely different alternative here, right? I totally respect what you're saying. But what I want to tell you from the other side, I see an awful lot of people engaging in this bullshit called quiet quitting. Okay? And the problem with that quiet quitting is that when I was a young man, I went to work, I got there 15 minutes early. I read all the shit on the board. I checked my little cubicle, my little mail slot. I read whatever was there. I talked to my boss. I shook my boss's hand. "Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. How are you doing? Does coffee need to be made? Does that trash need to go out?" And I did that because when there was overtime to be had, my name was at the top of my boss's list for he deserves it. Because he's always here early. He always offers to stay late. He takes the trash out when he first comes in. He makes extra coffee. If something spills, he's not one of the 6 guys with his hands on his hips saying, "Well, who the fuck's going to clean that up?" He's the guy already in the janitor's closet getting them out. And in this generation, I hear an awful lot of people say, well, that's not my job. That's not my job. And you're right, it's not your job. But it's not anybody's job. If there's a hole that needs dug, grab a shovel, start digging. There's a hole that needs filled in, grab a shovel, start filling in. And then when the opportunities rise, you go up. Now, I'm not disagreeing with you. It is easier to cycle people out. But companies still have vertical mobility. It's harder. It's absolutely harder now. Because we've designed a system where people go from this company to this company, this company to this company, back to the first. And absolutely, without a doubt. But it's not helping this generation because they're all subscribing to the idea of bare minimum Bobby or quiet quitting. That's fine as long as the company has the same energy towards its employees. No, that's the problem. That's the problem. Because you're saying it's fine if the company... No. If the company doesn't pay you what you're worth after a year, dust off the resume and go somewhere else. But I never had good people have to go somewhere else because I got good people promoted. If I couldn't get them promoted, I at least got them a raise. I saw you ask, what do I think about the U.S. propaganda against China? We can't get Chinese cars and phones, which are much cheaper and a lot better. Canada allows it. I don't get why we keep the tension. We keep the tension. It's not propaganda. It's protective markets. If we allowed Chinese imports, American manufacturing would go down even more. If we allowed these Chinese trucks and these Chinese cars to come in, well, then our American automobile industry would get worse. The problem is, unions in America made the cost of labor too high. Because unions begin to create positions that don't produce. They create positions that are designed solely for the stewardship of the union. So you got the factory and there's 100 workers. And back in the day, you used to have 4 or 5 guys out of the 100 workers who were the union board. And then as time went on, union workers started paying dues. And so 4 or 5 guys were taken out of this pool, right? And they became the union president, the union secretary, the union steward, the union negotiator, all those positions, and then they don't do the work anymore. So now your wages have to go up, so your dues are high enough so these 4 or 5 people can have a paycheck. And I know this because I was the union negotiator for the teachers. The problem we have is that, I see what you said, doesn't the cost of labor have to keep up with the cost of living? Again, a lot of people are confusing the cost of living with the cost of lifestyle. And until people are willing to recognize there is a distinction between the cost of living and the cost of lifestyle, you can't fix the problem. My daughter spent $300 on clothes the other day. 3 outfits. It's easy when you have dad's credit card. $300 is all of my clothing for a year. 2 pairs of jeans, 6 shirts, pack of socks, pack of compression shorts, and at least 1 pair of... Luckily now, I wear these. I wear barefoot shoes because of my neuropathy. These are $33 plus $3 for the neuropathy insole. Said to my wife after she took my daughter shopping, I said, good goddamn Lord, how much did you spend? You want bougie shit, go figure out a way to make bougie money. That would be a situation where tariffs ironically would come in. You would have to set a Chinese vehicle tariff such that the cost competitively alongside American made, that a quota so they can't flood the market. You're right. Everyone is starting their life like they already have a dream job when they aren't anywhere near it. They complain when a company starts them at the bottom. You're right. This right here, you are dead spot on. You are dead spot the fuck on right here. I hear it a lot from people. I can't afford to live in the same neighborhood my parents live in. Good, you're not fucking supposed to live in the same neighborhood your parents live in. You're not supposed to live in the same neighborhood that you grew up in because you didn't grow up in a starter home. And even if you did grow up in the starter home of the neighborhood, that neighborhood has 18 to 22 years of asset appreciation. Well, it's all because the baby boomers could afford a house on minimum wage, and now we can't. Yeah, that had nothing to do with the baby boomers, just so we're clear. That had to do with the silent generation moving us off of a hard currency standard to a fiat standard because people wanted to have lines of credit. What happens when everybody has access to money? Prices go up because demand goes up. Supply stays the same. Why is it that these developers are... And I see it all the guys. I used to build... I'm a project manager. I've always been a project manager. I do a lot of fucking shit for a lot of people. I make a lot of people money. I like money. I like to make myself money. They're still building subdivisions where the homes, the minimum size of the homes are 2,800 to 3,200 square feet. That's not a fucking starter home. I think the problem is the starter home is no longer affordable for most young professionals. No, that's not it. That's not it. We're not building starter homes. Do you know what a starter home is? A starter home is a 2-bedroom with an office / nursery, 1 bathroom, living room, kitchen with a little dining area and a laundry room. That's it. That's a starter home. That's what people aren't understanding. People are thinking that they can get the home they grew up in. That's not an option. What do you mean that's not an option? If people started saying that's what I want to buy, then that is what would start being built. You got your garage, right? You're coming off the garage, you got your laundry room, you got your kitchen, you got your back door. From right here, you got your master bedroom, you got your bathroom, you got your second bedroom, you have your office / nursery, here's your living room. That's what you got. They're not building them because no one's asking for them. No one's asking for them. No one's asking for them because they want to live a lifestyle they can't afford. That's the problem. I think a starter living on your own is a studio or a mini studio. When you're on your own, you don't need to have multiple floors and bathrooms. You're right. Although I hate studio apartments. They're fucking garbage. But people are trying to move into 3,000, 4,000 square foot homes because they want to live where their parents live. People blame the companies, but from my personal experience, it's mostly the workers. It's like they're tired of working when they start. I don't understand it. Like, I would pay more for underachievers. I'll give you a great example. A really good friend of mine said to me in a text message the other day, she said, I just got off working a 10. A fucking 10? You're fucking sending me 3 tired emotes because you just got off working a 10? A 10? Motherfucker, 10 is a short day. 10 is a wow, I'm gonna get some free time when I get home today. I'm gonna mow the lawn, I'm gonna do some laundry, I'm gonna do the weed eating, I'm gonna clean out the fucking back of the garage. Fucking 10? You sending me 3 fucking tired emojis on a 10? 10? No, 10-hour day. They only worked 10 hours. You sent it 3 different tired emojis on a fucking 10. This is my best friend, been my best friend for 10 years. Suck a dick, bitch. 10 is a short day. You lived in my house. No, not 10 if it's a 4-day week. No. 50-hour week? Why the fuck do you think I was making 150 grand a year? 50-hour week? If I didn't put in 50, I felt like I was stealing from the company. The problem is people want to be paid before they pay their dues. I started off, over 40 hours is crazy, you don't have time to enjoy anything? Bullshit! I had plenty of time to enjoy everything. I had plenty of time. I worked 50 hours a week. Plenty of time to enjoy shit. And you know what else I had? Here's the big one. I had the fucking money to go enjoy shit. That's the big one. Because all my friends were fucking oh man, I don't want to fucking work a job where people were like, I don't want to work 50-hour weeks. That's why I didn't take the manager job. What do you mean? Oh, I didn't take the manager job. I'm going to stay the assistant manager. Why? My boss at the fucking, when I was in sales, my boss saw my sales. He's like, how'd you like to be the manager of the store? I said, I'm already doing the manager's job. Now give me the manager's pay. A couple of weeks later, my boss was like, hey, I'm going to be out for surgery. I'm going to divide the district into 2. I want you to take the 4 South stores. How much more are you paying me? $4 an hour. In the 90s? Yes, fucking please. Yes, motherfucker. $4 more an hour? Give me that shit. By the time he got back off of surgery, they were like, they're going to send him to another district. Yeah, but you work 40 hours, you have thousands in savings and retirement. You'd say you're doing fine. But the thing is, you're doing fine for you. Arguing on behalf of business owners is crazy. Why should the employee work more than 40 hours a week? The workers should put in the time after they're paid to do their work well. Who the fuck? Are you such a fucking business hater? 50-hour weeks, $150,000 a year. Did you miss that? Did you miss the dollar amount I was getting? And that was 20 years ago. That was $150,000 of 20 year ago money. You know why other people don't get that? Because they stare at their fucking feet when they're asked to step up. That's the problem. That's the attitude of the fucking people on the bottom. Puddles, yeah, I only care about me. Who else is going to take? You should only care about you. And you say, arguing on behalf of business owners, I am a business owner. But I want you to figure this out. Ready? This is 20 years ago. $57 an hour. 20 years ago. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. What was my buying power? Why do I have and no offense to Puddles. I'm not making fun of Puddles here. But some people have thousands of dollars in the bank, and some people have hundreds of thousands, and some people have millions. It's hard to make a lot of money when you're working for somebody else. But you take the money working for somebody else, and then you turn it into money for yourself. See, I do this show because I've helped an awful lot of people in 9 years. But we got to change. We have got to change the mentality of the working bottom people. They have to change money to live versus money for lifestyle. Too often, I can't get a house I want to afford. Then look elsewhere. People saying stupid shit like this to me. I would rather spend $1,800 a month in rent than commute. So you'd rather give a landlord over $20,000 a year than get $20,000 in equity in a piece of real estate? So in 5 years from now, because 5 years goes in the blink of an eye, you've given a landlord $100,000? $1,800 is a steal? What the fuck are you talking about? My daughter's 3-bedroom is $975. $1,800 is a steal. My daughter is 25 minutes from St. Louis. Yeah, but okay, so you're in Southern California. So what are you paying for in Southern California? Location, 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 and weather. If you're gonna live in Southern California, that's big boy and big girl area. You gotta be making big boy, big girl shit money. You wanna make big boy money, you gotta do big boy shit. Yeah, if you can't make that money, don't live in SoCal. Move to fucking Oregon. Move to Iowa. Move to Alabama, Louisiana. Somebody said, I skipped through it. I put it on the screen though. Move to where housing is cheap. Well, see, what we have to do is we have to change the mentality. The mentality cannot be the company owes me so I can live where I want. The mentality has got to shift back to the mentality I was raised with. What do I bring to the table to command the salary I want? This isn't about me. I have a mortgage and those hundreds of thousands of them. What are you bitching about? See, this is what I don't get then. Then what are you bitching about? Then why are you saying I'm defending businesses? If you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, then that means you're not pro-worker. There's a difference between being pro-worker and anti-business. You're not pro-worker because you've not said one pro-worker thing. You've said a lot of anti-business things. I've said pro-worker shit. Workers have to go to work ready to be workers. They have to go in ready to demonstrate their value so they can get that value. And if the company doesn't give them that value, update the resume and go somewhere that will give you your value. If you're pro-worker, you tell people to work harder so they can raise their ranks, even their own business. Yeah. The problem is we've got a working class group of people. Okay, Starbucks workers want to unionize. This is their real platform. Starbucks workers want to unionize because they don't want to ever have to work back-to-back 8-hour shifts. I saw this in one of the Starbucks union for one of the stores. One of their negotiating pieces was they did not want to ever have to work back-to-back 8-hour shifts. So I tried to explain to them what they're going to make. And they didn't understand it. I said, so you don't want to work back-to-back 8-hour shifts. Yeah. So you're going to make $840 every 2 weeks. And they said, well, no. I said, but you don't want to work back-to-back 8-hour shifts. Yeah. But the shifts are 8 hours. Yeah. So that means you'll only ever work every other day. Yeah. Then what the fuck are you how are you not understanding this? And I sat there with some Starbucks workers. And what I said was, you want 8-hour shifts? And they said yes. But you never want to work 2 in a row. They said yes. I said, so you're on, you're on, you're on, you're on, you're on, you're on, you're on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you work 7 out of 14. Yeah. Okay. So 7 times 8, 56. They said, yeah. I said, you normally work 80 hours in that span. I said 56 times 15 is 840. And they said, well, no, because we want like a long day and a short day. Said, no, that's what I thought they meant too. They didn't want to work doubles. They don't want to work back-to-back days with 8-hour shifts. And I was like, but you want 8-hour shifts. Because what they're mad about is they don't like getting, and this piece I agree with. They don't want to come in for 4 hours on a Tuesday and 6 hours on a Thursday. I said, gotta work hard, put in your hours, do a good job. But you should not be expected to put in 50 to 80 hours a week to benefit a company that more than likely will drop your ass the second it benefits the company. I'm generalizing, they're good business owners, but they do their best to take care of the people. Okay, but hold on. In what I'm going to stop you here because I don't like the bullshit hypothetical. In what world are you not being taken care of if you're working 50 to 8-hour weeks? And I'm going to call you out specifically because how the fuck are you not being taken care of if you are agreeing to work a 50 to an 80-hour week? Because that means you're either, right? There's only one of two ways to be working a 50-hour week. Salary, which you negotiated, or 10 to 40 hours of overtime, which must be a minimum of time and a half. So how is the company not taking care of you? See, I'm okay if you can give me tangible examples. But if you're working 50 to 80-hour weeks, which I've done, your salary accommodates for that. Like, I think people need to understand there isn't we have a time and a half minimum over 40 hours, and then some states have more restrictive. Like, America, after 40 hours, everything after 40 needs to be time and a half up to 80 hours, and then double time and a half, which after 80 hours is fucked up anyway. Some states, on the other hand, after 8 hours, you go into OT. You go into OT on that day, but then those hours have already been paid at OT, so it stacks and splits. How are you not being taken care of? And see, I don't mind if people say these things, but then the problem is, give me a concrete example. I've had jobs where boss is like, do you want OT? No, I hate this fucking job. No, thank you, sir. Gonna go home now. Because I'm dusting off the resume looking for another job. Right? I'm okay if people want to say companies need to take care of their workers, but I can't get down with this example because how is the company not taking care of you? I'm gonna take a real quick break. I'm hoping you can tell me how the company's not taking care of you. They have to pay you overtime. And if you're on salary, you negotiated your salary. All right, so I guess I'm not going to get any further feedback on how this has happened. So this is the problem. Lots of people can put out like 10 words, honestly, what I call a bunch of dribble. Like, unfortunately, I know many companies that give zero benefits, then don't work there. Honest to God, if a company gives zero benefits, like, don't work there. Oh, I'm personally salaried, but salary doesn't mean you should be expected to work OT every week in perpetuity. OT to get a job done is one thing, but endless OT because they don't have staff or whatever is not okay. If you're being OT'd, then great. That's the first time I've heard you talk about getting compensated. No. The other problem is this. Salary means you get the job done. So what you're doing is, unfortunately, you're misrepresenting salary. And it's something I hate that people do. You're misrepresenting salary because you're making it sound like salaried workers are always working more than 40. And that's not true at all. I was on salary. Some weeks I worked 80 or 90 hours. Some weeks I worked 25. If there was nothing going on, wasn't at work. I think we need to stop. There's enough problems in the workforce. We don't need to make shit up. And I don't like when we make shit up because it's clearly making shit up. Salary doesn't mean you should be expected to work overtime every week. Yes, it does. That's exactly what the fuck salary means. I'm sorry if nobody ever taught you what salary means. Salary means I'm offering you this pile of money to make sure this job gets done. Now, if you're handed a pile of money and you're not given an adequate workforce, why'd you take the job? Leave, quit. Tell your boss, hey, this doesn't work. Are there shitty companies out there? Absolutely. Yeah, you're expected to complete the work per the salary you're paid. If it takes you 20 hours a week or 80 hours a week, that's your issue to get the required work done in the time frame. That's the option. A lot of people, we don't have to make up shit to talk about where there's problems. Guess what? A lot of people don't go on salary because they think that they're going to get ripped off, when in reality, they'd be better off on salary. I had a job. It was in the military, but I'm salaried. I had a job. I got to work at 5:15 in the morning. Approved lab results. Walked across to the breakfast building. Got breakfast. Bullshitted with friends. Walked back. Read the fucking newspaper. Popped in a movie. Answered the phone if there was anything going on. In the afternoon, got called up to the lab. Started looking at lab results. If all the lab results were good, I was out of there by 3:30. If all the lab results were shit, I was home at 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 o'clock at night. There were lots of days where I just called my boss and said, all the fuel samples passed, I'm going to the gym. My boss would be like, cool, peace. There were other days my boss would be like, what in the fuck, Sam Hill, tarnation is going on over there? Be like, I don't know, like every bad fuel sample on the whole planet came in today. Like, I'm up here running fuel samples myself. What do you want? I think the problem is we haven't done expectation management for kids. Kids have no idea what to expect. Young people have no idea what to expect. Great example of this. I want to see these people do contract work and watch them fail and then keep telling me it's the company's fault. Yeah. I've hired people and those people are allergic to being on time. Whose fault is that? There are people that will object to the mentality of getting to work more than a minute early. If I'm going to be at work, I should be paid for it. Totally fair. Absolutely, totally fair opinion. Totally good. If you want to believe that you should get paid for every minute you're on the job site, great. But then you should be penalized every time you're late. You also have to know that your experience isn't everyone's. Most people I personally know on salary don't really have the option to leave if they're done with work. They're expected to put in 40 and put in overtime if needed. Yeah. Unless they have a disability that hinders them, they should be on time. Even if they have a disability that hinders them, they should be on time. Punctuality is a requirement for everybody, disability or no. Sorry. I can't run a business if I don't know if your ass is going to be here on time or not. Well, my disability. It's not a reasonable accommodation to be down a person at the start of the shift. And I'm not against disabled people. But how can I do my job if you're not here to do your job? In the old days, we got to work 15 minutes early. Why do baby boomers and Gen Xers expect us to be here 15 minutes early? Because we got to work 15 minutes early. No. You're conflating being late and an alternate work schedule. No, you've misrepresented those. An alternate work schedule and being late are not synonyms. If you tell me you can't be here at 9 o'clock and this is what time the shift starts, I'll ask you why. If you tell me because the bus with the handicap ramp doesn't drop you off until 9:07, that's a reasonable accommodation. I'll start you at 9:30. But if I start you at 9:30 and you roll in at 9:40, I shouldn't have said roll in. I'm so sorry. That was insensitive. If you arrive at 9:41, you're late. Yeah, how dare I? See, I treat handicapped people, they're handicapable. I treat them all the same. A lot of people don't come 15 to 20 minutes early in the US. Basically, everywhere I've worked is 15 to 30 minutes early. Salty bread, the current generation in America like to play the game of how close to late can they get before they punch in. There's some companies that in order to accommodate the new workforce, they're not technically late unless they're 7 minutes late. But then they get mad when they're 7 minutes late and they lose pay because they're 7 minutes late all 5 days this week. So they're 35 minutes late for the week. And then they get mad and they're at your door. They're like, hey, you shorted me half an hour of pay. You're like, well, go get your time card. That's what I have exactly. My accommodation is a modified schedule due to public transit, right? I have a late morning activation due to my disability. I managed that by setting my alarm earlier. Right. How do you feel about Trump pushing coal and oil when the Strait of Hormuz is closed? Great question. So, Donald Trump wants to continue to push drill, baby, drill. Let's go back to coal. Let's go back to oil. We don't have enough fossil fuel resources to run this planet forever. This would be a great opportunity for the citizens of America to recognize we need to start moving to the same position that China is in. And for the people that can shift to electric vehicles, do that. If if switching to an electric vehicle wouldn't be such a pain in the ass, I would switch to an electric vehicle. I have a 2016 SUV with 67,000 miles on it. And I got it with 10. I go I go a month between fill-ups. Why would I switch? You wouldn't unless it benefits you. I don't go very far. If it was up to me, I would get I would get an electric vehicle for running around town and a gas-powered vehicle for cross-country trips. I think that it's ridiculous that the size of schools don't have solar panels on the roof. Targets, Walmarts, grocery stores should all have solar panels on the roof. If we don't start thinking about it now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, when gasoline starts to be scarcer, we're going to be wishing that we had elongated the gasoline, unless we create micro fusion, we're not going to be able to fly airplanes. We can't fly airplanes on alternative fuels. We can fly airplanes on biofuels, but those are still 85% fossil fuel with 15% biological component. That was a nightmare anyway. I was involved with that particular one, and that was a nightmare, flying coast to coast in a cargo jet with running basically on 15% bioaviation fuel. You say you don't like electric vehicles, it's too new. I already know what I got is reliable. I have a big problem with Teslas. One of my big problems with Teslas is there's 4 battery packs on the bottom of a Tesla, each at 600 pounds, but you only need 2 of them. 2 of them are the only ones that are being used at a time. So that means you're hauling 1,200 pounds of weight around. Well, I think that what we need to do is we need to figure out a way to reduce the weight by a lot. So then when you barn up a battery pack, your first 2 are free. Like, you get the alert, one of your 2 battery packs is damaged. Go. Depends on the building. Many of those buildings are not designed to be able to hold additional weight of rooftop solar panels. Yes, they are. Because those buildings have to... Every one of those buildings is designed to be able to hold the additional weight of a rooftop, because every one of those buildings has to be able to accommodate the weight of water and or snow. So now you could bring up the argument that those buildings aren't going to be able to hold the weight of the solar panels, the water, and the snow, but then I counter that with, well, then make sure you have proper drainage. But yeah, those all of those buildings can put solar panels on them. The weight of the solar panels alone. Now, if you're trying to put the entire power distribution grid up on the roof, all the batteries and everything, that would be a problem. But you just run the batteries into a room, hopefully on an exterior wall. Certain types of people want to vandalize Teslas. Yeah, that's shitty. I do agree with you there. Why not get Chinese electric vehicles? Again, we can't import Chinese electric vehicles because then we would put American auto manufacturers out of business. Also, you could remove some of that insane amount of parking and put solar there if you're going to put it on the roof. Also true, you could put solar panels in the parking lots of all these big box stores. Why not just have the batteries be not on the roof? Right, exactly. So we have, but again, where our problem is, everybody runs into the how do I benefit? If I don't benefit, I don't vote for it. I want to feed kids in America. Guess what? I'm not talking about my kids. I'm not talking about my kids. Because whether or not my daughter gets her disability check, I can feed my daughter. I wouldn't have had, like, I'm a freak of a bird. I do know the name of my breed. When I decided to have kids, I made the conscious choice of saying to myself, can I support these kids forever? I could afford to feed my kid forever. But I don't want any kid to be hungry. I don't know why we deal with kids being hungry. And it's a really shitty situation to be in, that we're arguing about feeding kids and not looking at the larger problem. Let's feed kids. Let's educate kids. Let's see. Did I not download them all? Okay. I got a little bit of time. I got started late today because I had to have therapy on my back. What's this guy got to share?
You know Signal, the encrypted messaging app meant to be used when you want extra privacy? Well, the FBI just recovered deleted Signal messages from an iPhone, and it had nothing to do with Signal's encryption. Here's how it happened. By default, when someone sends you a Signal message, your iPhone shows a preview on the lock screen. But iOS doesn't just show that preview and forget about it. It saves a copy, in this case, the sender name and message text, in a system-level database on your phone. And that database sticks around even if you delete Signal, and even if the disappearing message already deleted itself. In a federal trial in Texas this month, the FBI seized a defendant's iPhone, ran a forensic tool, and pulled full plaintext copies of her incoming Signal messages weeks after she had deleted the app. This would have worked on any app that shows message previews and notifications. So here's how to protect yourself. 1. Open the in-app settings and configure them not to show name or content in notifications. And 2. Open the app's notification settings on your phone and make sure that Show Previews is set to Never, because encrypted messaging does not mean much if your phone is actually storing everything in plain text.
Remember I said people all the time talk about like, well, I can't be tracked because I use a VPN. What? Hey, do you know how a VPN works? No. Good. Then shut up. You're not. I can't be tracked because I use incognito mode. Do you know how do you know how these things work? No? Okay. The biggest problem, I pointed out, people are leaving school unable to read, and people are doing the bare minimum, expecting too much, and they have kids. So now they have entitled parents having kids, and that doesn't mix. Yep. Now we got people getting it. We got to go back to Sister Mary Frances, a fucking puta who hasn't seen a dick in 50 years, with a nice fucking pointer, beat the shit out of you. A VPN just hides your traffic from the ISP, not your location. The ISP still knows it's you. Here's the even better one, right? The VPNs don't always hide your traffic at all. Some of them do. Some VPNs just optimize the route. You have to know which VPN you're using. Some of them are just route optimizers. There's nothing encrypted about them. Also remember, if you're using an American-based company's product, they have to be able to decrypt your shit. You might want to look at encryption laws in America. Well, what I was told was, go read the law. Yeah. Stop doing the shit that you shouldn't be doing. Like, I make jokes all the time, like, with people. Like, I'll be like, I don't know, what are we gonna do later? Are we gonna get something to eat, or are we gonna do, or am I gonna do blow off your tits? Just kidding, DEA. Just kidding. Just stop doing the shit that you shouldn't be doing.
You know, Signal
that's really fucking good advice. Also, talking about America. Well, hold on. Let me grab this one because you asked. Why do I think the United States is the only developed country without universal health care, leaving millions uninsured or underinsured? Well, first of all, let me stop you on one thing. First of all, let's make sure that we get the numbers right. Only 8% of America doesn't have health insurance. 8%. Of that 8%, 4% don't have health insurance by choice. Meaning, out of a population of 340 million people, minus aliens, illegal aliens, all that, we get down to about 300 million. We're talking about 12 million people that fall through the cracks. I'm not happy that we're having 4 million people or 12 million people fall through the cracks. But we've got to be legitimate when we talk about the size of the problem. We can't solve the problem if we don't understand the scope of the problem. The 4% of people who choose not to have health insurance, can't help them. They have the money for it. They just choose to not get it. Or, like a friend of mine once said, I was like, hey, why don't you go down to the benefits office? You can get Medicaid. I'm not getting poor people health insurance. Hey, dumb fuck, you'd rather get a $15,000 bill? Are most of those 4%? No, the 4% here, they have the money for it. The 4% here fall through the cracks. The 4% that are unemployed, they qualify for Medicaid. They just have to go through the steps to get it. So there's only 12 million people that don't have health care that could have it. Choice is also they don't go down to the benefits office. I think I slipped that in my head. How do they fall through the cracks? That's a great question. And then I'll so the health insurance for your family would be $800 a month, but you only make $2,000 a month. So that's not really an option, right? And so you make $2,000 a month, so you make $24,000 a year, but the cutoff for government assistance Medicaid for your state is $23,500. So this is a big problem I have with how we give aid. You make $500 over the threshold to qualify. So instead of them saying, you have to pay us $500 back, because then your take home is $23,500, they just say, nope, you're over the number, you get nothing. I don't like that. I think that's bullshit. That's how they fall through the cracks. They can't afford to buy it, but they don't make enough to be able to buy it. They make too much to get it through the state. They're above the below and they're below the upper. But as far as the other piece to it, what about America being the only developed country without universal health care? America's population is so large that we have more people on Medicare than most developed countries have people. We have 77 million people on Medicare, which means if a European country's population is less than 77 million people, we're already providing more healthcare through Medicare than they're providing, period. Now, technically Switzerland doesn't have universal healthcare, it has mandatory private insurance. That's true. How well does the average health insurance work? Like shit, because Obamacare fucked everything up. Now, the problem becomes we keep talking about these other countries that have universal health care. Okay. So, what about Canada? Canada has universal health care. It can take you over a year to get an MRI. When you have health care, you have cheap, you have fast, and you have correct. In America, you can get your healthcare cheap in America you can get it fast and correct, but it won't be cheap. In Canada, you can get it cheap and correct, it won't be fast. And in some European countries, you can get it cheap and fast, it won't be correct. It's a bad situation to be in. Canada has universal, but it doesn't cover everything. It covers everything. It's just, like I said, the anecdotal story for Canada is one woman died in the ER waiting room. Just fucking died. Another girl, she has brain cancer. They thought she had a spinal tumor. 14 months to get a spinal MRI. The problem with universal health care is when everybody has it, you have to be able to provide 100% to everybody, or everybody gets delayed. Like, for example, last year, not January 2025. I'm sorry, not January 2026. January 2025. So January of 2025, I'm off hiking in the mountains. And I'm about a mile and a half from my car in the mountains. And I start having chest pain. And I sit down on a rock, and I'm a former medic. And I said, no, son, you got to get up. You got to start making positive progress back to your car. You can't sit. I got home. I drove home from West Virginia. I saw the very next day. So I drove home on Monday. On Tuesday, I saw the cardiology department, and I had a stress test echo. My heart was fine. The next week, I had a breathing test. The vapor chamber, the methacholine challenge, I had all that. Breathing is fine. So January of 2025, within 48 hours of calling my doctor, I had the cardiology appointment. Within 7 days, I had the breathing test. But 13 months later is when I saw pulmonary. This is America. And I had to wait 13 months to see pulmonary. When they told me it was going to be 13 months, I called the VA and I said, hey, VA. They said, what's up? I said, hey, I'm having chest pain. I just had a bunch of workup done. I'm wondering if you guys can get me in faster than 13 months for a pulmonology appointment. They said, no, if it's 13 months for you on the local economy, it's 14 months for us to get you in. Because by the time we call in, it'll take us a month to get you in. If you had a medical problem in Canada, would you die? Maybe. It depends. If you have a trauma problem in Canada, you'll get taken care of. But if you have a routine problem, you might die. A lot of rich Canadians come to America because they can buy service. Some rich Europeans come to America because they can buy service. Several European countries have universal health care and they have private insurance. You need to combine universal health care with other programs, food regulation, sports participation that keeps the population healthy. Right. Depending on what you need, it's a healthy mix of the three. Our A&E is low, but getting an appointment and getting on a successful treatment course is really good experience. I recently needed something specific, and I was 95% handled on an internet form with 5% lab testing. Yeah. See, the problem is, for a small country, it works. For a small country, it works. The larger the country, the less it scales. But what Salty Bread said is absolutely correct. We spend $1 trillion a year on obesity and $800 billion a year on obesity-related conditions. We need to get people fit again. But who wants us to be fit? Nobody. Who doesn't want us to be fit? Coke, Pepsi, Frito-Lay, Jay's, Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's. Wolf Agar had an appendicitis, nearly went septic, took 15 hours before you got your first bit of antibiotics. I know a person from Canada went to the ER, was in serious abdominal pain, was there for almost 18 hours in the waiting room. Finally, the pain stopped, so they just got up and left. About 4 days later, they were back in the ER. Their appendix had ruptured while they were waiting. If you know anything about a rupturing appendix, you're in excruciating pain until your appendix ruptures. Then your appendix ruptures. And it spews filth and bile all over your internal organs. But you feel better because you're not in pain. And then your body starts shutting down. Then they have to open up your chest cavity and wash all of your organs. It's a 10-second test to test the appendix if it's rupturing. It's the rebound test. 2 fingers over, 2 fingers down, press hard. If the pain stops, you let go. The pain is worse. It's the appendix. Do a scan right now. Could you imagine being forced on universal health care and not having choice on surgeon and all that? No thanks. That is the other problem. universal healthcare removes a lot of choice because your name comes up, your number comes up, you go to the next person involved, the next surgeon up. Of course, you can do the theory where you get to the top and you just linger at the top. Well, no, because there's another theory that you can do. Once you get to the top, you can continuously be the next person dealt until the doctor you want comes up. But it could take a while. It's kind of like yesterday when I got my call. They were like, yeah, we can get you in tomorrow in the facility in your town. It's like, nope, I can only go to somebody who can do dry needling. Oh, well, then that's going to be May. Okay. Are you sure you don't? That sounds dangerous, though, if it's something life-threatening. You're right. It is dangerous. Here's the other problem with universal healthcare. It's no longer about being an outstanding doctor in your field and building up a successful practice. It's about meatball medicine. It's about meatball surgery like Hawkeye in MASH. It's no longer about being the very best at what you do. It's about how many surgeries did you do today. You're not going to be able to have oncologists who are involved in every step of the process who know you as a patient. You're going to have one doctor that does your chemo, one doctor that monitors your meds, one doctor that does the cutting, and like everything else, it's going to seem really efficient at the beginning until you realize we did that for a lot of years, and then we moved to teams and the total patient care process because that's the better way to do it. No matter what happens with me, anywhere in my health network, my doctor, my PCM, my primary care manager, I like the way the military calls it, the primary care physician, but my PCM, my primary care manager, gets a copy of absolutely everything to do with me. Absolutely every single thing to do with me, Dr. T gets. There are times that his staff will call me about something out of network, and they'll be like, when did this happen? Oh, 5 months ago? Why didn't you tell us? I did. You sent me there. And they're like, oh shit, that's right. Imagine if there was no crosstalk. Do I think that we should have universal healthcare? I do think that we should have universal healthcare. What would be a good way to start that? A good way to start that would be in your senior year of high school. Instead of filling kids' heads in their senior year of high school with a bunch of bullshit, what you could do is first period for the kid could be their life skills class, right? And so we're gonna have September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. We're gonna have 8. So anatomy and physiology. How does the body work? 2, nutrition. 3, cooking. 4, exercise. Like, not gym class, like, what are crazy 8s? What stretching should you do? Right? 5, how to deal with depression, anxiety, right? 6, why having a PCM is a good thing. 7, how to file for insurance, right? No, we don't have cooking class. We don't have home ec anymore. You could do this a month set of classes. We're gonna teach you about anatomy and physiology. Why? So you know what the fuck your body does. Like, for example, here's a really easy anatomy and physiology and first aid. Ready? True or false? If you throw up something and it looks like coffee grounds, you should immediately report to the hospital. True or false? Y'all disappoint me right now. True. If you ever throw up something, true, unless you ate fucking coffee grounds. True. Unless you are one of those fucking crazy people that eats freeze-dried coffee grounds. And the reason why is that's bad shit happening. If you walk into the ER and you tell them you threw up what looks like coffee grounds, they're gonna look at you a little weird. If you show up with the fucking vomit bag with coffee grounds in it, you're gonna go in the back right away. How can you expect people to learn when they can't read? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm also gonna tell you guys this. This is another thing that they should tell you in anatomy and physiology in high school. If your vision ever turns from color to black and white, tell the fucking doctor, the nurse, the med tech, the janitor, any fucking hospital person that will listen to you, be like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I'm now seeing in black and white. That's a really big fucking problem. War is good for Epstein and Trump and his friends Putin and Zelensky and Israel. Oh, here we go. Hey, Rasha, do you think you could be a human being, or do you just enjoy having a double-digit IQ and getting 5 seconds of attention? If you want 5 seconds of attention, could you just run in and show a picture of your ass instead of running into my chat, pulling down your pants, and showing your ass to everybody? You are literally on a politics show where you could have good conversation, and you choose to come in and just be an asshole. Why? Why do you believe that you need to come in? We need peace. No shit. You think? So let me ask you a question, because I'm gonna put this full ass shit up on the screen for a second. I got a question for you. First of all, am I supposed to take you seriously because you don't know how to spell Israel? Second of all, war isn't good for Epstein. He's fucking dead. Okay? Third of all, war isn't good for Zelensky. His country's been at war for 4 years, and he's losing. So, your comment, which is on the screen, makes you look dumb as fuck. Because one of the people in your line is dead. How is war good for Epstein? He's dead. Now, if you say we need peace, I agree with you. Why can't you come in and say, why can't you come in, read the room, get a feel, and then say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? The war didn't stop people talking about the Epstein files. Pam Bondi getting fired because Putin and Zelensky begin war and Trump and Netanyahu start a war and Epstein won't. Epstein's dead. The fuck is wrong with you? Epstein is fucking dead. And Zelensky didn't start a war. Zelensky is the president of the country that got invaded. He didn't start a war. You let me know when you find when you find the Ukrainian declaration of war against Russia. You let me know then, because I've been studying the war for the last 4 years. Now, if you're going to talk on my channel, at least spell people's names correctly, because you'll notice my channel is tagged English. If English isn't a language you can communicate in, then go find a channel in your native language. And if there's not a channel in your native language, buy a microphone, get a camera, get OBS, and start one. It's that simple. Because if you ask me if I think we need peace, I'll say yes. But you can't come in here and just be full of shit. Now, back to the whole home ec thing. We don't teach kids to cook in America. And since most people don't know how to cook, They can't teach their kids how to cook. People who live in Epstein can't arrested. Israel and U.S. war in Iran. Russia and Ukraine want war because they don't peace. You're an illiterate fuck. Like, you are literally an illiterate fuck. You are literally a streamer, and you are an illiterate fuck. No wonder why your streaming failed. You failed at streaming. I believe it's due to your lack of literacy. Chesterton, or Churchstone, one of the reading impaired people, right there. If we aren't teaching them how to read, we aren't teaching them much. I agree with you. I agree. If you can't read, you can't teach yourself. It's just that simple. There's a better chance they're taught to order DoorDash before they're taught to cook. And that includes instant ramen. My daughter has been able to make instant ramen since she was 7 years old. My 7-year-old is, she's 13 now. My 13-year-old can make fudge. She can make ramen. She can make bagel bites. Pizza rolls, Hot Pockets, pizzas. She in theory knows, she knows how to make beef tips and rice. So she knows how to make beef, steak, gravy, rice. She in theory knows how to make scrambled eggs, but she doesn't get her ass out of it. She knows how to make French toast. She knows how to make pancakes. She knows how to make waffles. So my 13-year-old can cook. There's an entire YouTube channel dedicated to people who have failed at boiling water. All right. I have time to throw in like one or two more bits and bobs. Let's see.
No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old.
Fuck you, Ben. Fuck you. Nobody in the United States. I'm sorry, I can't handle the illiterate anymore. The illiterate has to go. Ben, people should be retiring at 65.
Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. It's totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you will receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family, you and your wife or whatever, for like another 20 years.
Hey, Ben, how about fuck you? How about I retired at 37? How about I retired the first time at 19? And then, unfortunately, my mom died of cancer.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah, it's crazy talk. Like, how dare you? How dare you? Now, the conventional response to this, and I've heard people say it, is, well, Ben Shapiro can say that because he's a podcaster. He's not climbing ladders for a living. And if you climb ladders for a living, you know, or do any kind of physical labor, even light physical labor, your body breaks down. It's just a fact. And if you are around people who've done it, you know, by the time they get to 50, they're limping and they're in pain. That's why they're, you know, you go to these little towns around the country and most businesses are gone. There are no furniture stores or no toy stores. Like, they're all gone. They're all at Walmart. They're a husk. But what you do find next to the, you know, the drug rehab places are chiropractors. There are a lot of chiropractors throughout the country. It's because poorer people, working class people, blue collar people are aching. They have trouble walking. Their backs hurt. So retirement for a man who climbs ladders is a little bit different from a man who hosts a podcast. But that's not even the point that I would make. That's true, of course. He's pure contempt for people who work with their bodies, and he should be judged for that. But I think it's deeper than that. It's like, how dare you tell me when I should retire? Who are you exactly? Who gave you the moral authority to judge when I retire? That's insane. You're like a child who's got some deal with Facebook or whatever, whoever you are. You are not God. You have no right to talk to me like that. But you do because you have no respect for me. You have no love for me at all. And it does kind of point to the core problem, not with Ben Shapiro, who will not be a factor in America in 5 years. I can promise you that. Or Mark Levin. Let's hope he gets better. No, it points to the problem with their leaders. They don't like the people they lead. That's it right there. They have no love for the people they lead. And all leadership is based on the patriarchal model.
Okay, so I pulled this one down for this exact piece. People come to my show, people hear me talk, they think I'm anti-worker. I'm not anti-worker. Being a good leader, I've always believed that being a good leader requires you to almost have been a good parent. Or have had really great parents and you emulate them. People are going to be lazy if they can be lazy. It's why one of the things I love about the Disney model is that picking up trash is every person's responsibility at Disney. I don't know for a fact if it's still in Disney's rule book, but I know as recently as 2009, it was still in Disney's rule book that if any Disney cast member is seen walking past policeable trash, that's like a bottle or a wrapper, like we're not talking about mess, we're not talking about filth, we're not talking about like bio, we're talking about like we're talking about this. We're not talking about like a napkin. We're not talking about barbecue sauce or ketchup on the. We're not talking about that. We're talking like just the wrapper of something. If at Disney you walk past a wrapper and you're seen walking past it, you're fired. Because trash is everybody's responsibility. Nobody is above picking up trash. Another thing about Disney was you have the higher ups. If you're hired to be a higher up, no, not the workers, everybody. Not the rank and file workers. We're talking from the CEO down to the janitor. If you're seen walking past trash, you're fired. And the other thing is, if you're most people aren't hired external to Disney to take high-level jobs. They're promoted from within. But if you are brought in, you do a lot of jobs for 2 or 3 weeks. You have 6 months. You might get hired to be vice president of human relations. But you're not going to be a vice president for about 6 months. Because you're going to spend 2 to 3 weeks as a janitor, and 2 to 3 weeks as a sales associate, and 2 to 3 weeks as a character, 2 to 3 weeks as a ride operator assistant. You're going to do a lot of jobs. 2 to 3 weeks at a resort, 2 to 3 weeks learning how to drive a bus. You'll never do it, but you'll learn how to do it. And the reason why is because the people on the top of the company have to know what all their employees go through. That's the love for the worker. When I say I have love for the worker, people say, yeah, but you say that the worker should work harder. Yeah, they should work harder. They should be smarter. They should self-educate. They should understand that they need to have enough money to live, but not enough money to live a lifestyle that's ridiculous. We can't have a serious conversation unless we correct both sides. You'll notice I say all the time, the rich people need to cough up about 10% of the money. You got too much of the money. You got to let some of that money flow downward. But at the same time, if we don't make the bottom people smarter, if we let 10% of the money flow downward to the bottom part of the bottom 90%, they'll just piss it away again. 54% of Americans read at the 6th grade level or lower. 20% of Americans read with level 1 literacy, which is functional literacy. How are we going to fix the problem if 20% of the population needs pictures.
The father is a good father because he loves his children. He may make mistakes, but ultimately he comes back to true north because he loves them. That's what keeps him honest, his sincere love for his children. That is the model for all leadership. That's the model for leadership in the military, in a company. That's the model for rhetorical leadership. You want people to follow you? You want to sell your ideas to them? You want to convince them that what you're saying is true? Show some love for them. Demonstrate that you love them, you care about them. Why are we doing this? Because we think it's better for you. Shapiro and all of these guys, they don't make an effort to do that because they don't feel that way at all. Shut up, cattle. You're a Nazi. Give us the money for our preferred little country, or else we're going to denounce you. Man, those attitudes are incompatible with leadership and, in fact, with democracy itself.
They are. And here's like kind of the roll-up. If the rich hand down 10% of their money to the lower income who don't know how to manage money, all that money will end up right back to the rich. There's been several economic models done that says if we normalized all the money, if we completely gave everybody the same wealth, within 3 generations we would have ultra rich and ultra poor again. I'm gonna give you a scenario. You guys know that because sometimes you gotta you gotta call out the horse when it won't drink. I told you there's 3 families that I help out. It's why I'm trying to grow my numbers, increase my income so I can start a charitable organization. I'd love to have Asmongold and Hassan level money because I would be helping people's lives. Like people are like, hey Jay, I can't pay my rent. Fill out this form. Send in a copy of your financials. I'll get your rent paid for you. I'd love to get to that situation in life. I said to this woman, I said, look, your husband's raping you on basically a nightly basis. He doesn't take care of you. What I'd like to do is I'd like to buy, there's a 3-bedroom trailer for sale. It's in decent enough condition. What I'd like to do is I'd like to buy this 3-bedroom trailer for you. You go in one room, or I'm sorry, your boy goes into one room, 2 of the girls go into one room, the older girl gets her own room, and then you sleep on the couch on the pullout. Woman says to me, I don't really want to live in a trailer. Excuse me? What the fuck did you say? I'm willing to buy a $52,000 trailer to get you out of being fucking raped by your husband. And you have bougie fucking standards? Like, I'm gonna buy a fucking trailer and you're gonna pay me what you can when you can, and when you've given me $52,000 plus however many fucking years it takes you to pay it, and you've paid the property taxes on it, so I'm not losing money on this deal, here it is, I'll give it to you. And you said no? Then what the fuck? Then what the fuck am I doing here? Then what the fuck am I doing here trying to help you? That would be what I would be saying to her. I don't like when someone spits back my charity. Yeah, that's what I've really, that's what I'm about. Yeah, talk about instantly losing any empathy for the situation. Right. And by the way, as I say this to people, right? Some of you have noticed over the years, the last 6 years of my life has been a thought experiment for me. For the first 40 years of my life, I was told my mental health disorder was I'm just antisocial personality disorder. That's why I'm a loner. Then at age 40, I have a psychological battery of tests and they're like, you're not antisocial, you're autistic. If this was still under the DSM-4, you have Asperger's syndrome. I'm more human than some people and I don't fucking know how to be a human. I don't know how to be human. I don't fucking understand you people. Like, look, you have a problem. I can solve it. $52,000. Give me $700 to $1,000 a month. Never give me less than $700. But if you have extra money, give me up to $1,000. in just over 4 years, because you're paying $1,200 a month in rent right now. If you're paying $1,200 a month in rent right now, I'll take $1,000 a month. In 52 months, you own this place, plus, you know, probably like 60 months, because you're gonna have to pay the property tax. In 5 years, you're out of your fucking hole. Well, I don't want to live in a trailer. Do you want to live in a fucking cardboard box on a street? Because the fuck is that? Another person moved into my house. Domestic abuse survivor. Moved into my house, came home one night, high as shit. Stopped her. I knew she used weed. But her eyes were twitching. And believe me, I know the difference between somebody being high and high on coke. So I just happened to be up. She got home. I heard her downstairs. Went down. Her eyes were bouncing. I said, hey, what the fuck are you on? And she's like, I'm just really high. I said, yeah, high my ass. What are you on? And she's like, well, I said, look, I ain't gonna fuck about with you. It's real simple. If you tell me you're on nothing, then tomorrow morning, I'm just gonna go in, because I was counseling at the time. I said, tomorrow morning, I'm just gonna go to the office. I'm gonna get a piss cup. I'm gonna bring it home. You're gonna piss in a cup. And if it says anything other than weed, I'm gonna throw your ass out. Or you can just tell me the truth now and I can deal with it. She's like, I'm high on coke. I said, cool. You can't come around my house if you're high on coke because I have a kid. Because one of these days you're gonna forget you have coke on you. You're gonna bring drugs into my house, and I cannot have that. That is incompatible with my fucking life. She got mad. She left. Good. It wasn't really a fucking choice. You were given the opportunity to get your feet underneath you, and the moment you had your feet underneath you, you thought cocaine was gonna be like, hey, look, ready? I'll get you into treatment. I'll take care of your house while you're in treatment. I don't need treatment. It's not a regular thing. If it's not a regular thing, why won't you go to treatment for it? Treatment should be easy. Is she being abused? Like, how long until that happens to the kids? Thank you for that, because that's exactly what I've said to her. I've said, what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? Because if a husband is raping his wife, then it's not too long after he starts looking at his eldest daughter. And that is the fucked up world we live in. And I wish it wasn't the world we lived in, but it is. It pisses me off how entitled people are, and they won't sacrifice, if not for themselves, but for their kids. And I think that's the one that chaps my ass. When my wife and I first got married, I was in E5, she was in E4. And we hit some money trouble. And we ran into a liquidity problem. And for 2 weeks, we had about $19 to go 2 weeks. And we ate at the chow hall every night because it was like $1.85. And we each got a to-go box from the chow hall, and we got enough stuff that our daughter would eat that we each gave up out of our to-go box to feed our kid. And let me tell you, that was a long fucking 2 weeks. I don't want to live in a trailer. Who cares if my kids are in danger? I don't want to live like that. Like they are above that lifestyle when they are. Yeah, I know, right? Like, no shit. Like, last one, because then I gotta go be a scary father. My daughter's going to a dance tonight. I offered a person was really down on their luck. I knew them fairly well. What I said is, hey, here's the deal. I said, I'll make you the same deal I make everybody. What's gonna happen is, I'm gonna give you a room in a house. You owe me $500 a month. But that covers everything. You give me $500 a month, that covers everything but the food you eat. When you move out, if you don't fuck my house up, I'll give you $200 of the $500 back. But the reason why I ask for $500 is number one, so I know when you leave, you're walking out with something. And number two, if you fuck my shit up, it's your rolling security deposit. I did this for one guy. He was there 3 months. Oh, but what I tell people is, sorry, I left out the fucking punchline. I said, but the deal is this. I know enough people on the south side of Chicago, I can get you a job. The moment you don't have the job that I know you have, it's because you've told me you've gotten another job that's more conducive to you. So the first time I did this for somebody, I got him a job at my buddy's gas station. Worked out great because he didn't have a car. So I dropped him off at work, and then I went to bed, and then I picked him up in the morning, and then I went to work. This went on for about 3 months. He had money, good. And then he decides to just quit his job. Well, that was against the rules. If you quit your job, you got to tell me. So I kicked him out. Said I can't be having people just fucking sitting around all day not bettering themselves. So he came, he picked up his shit. I gave him his money. I said, have a good life, man. There was a girl that was in our group of friends, and I said, hey, I didn't really want to take in a person, especially not a girl, but whatever. What happened was, girl had knocked around with a couple of different people, tried to get her feet under her. She couldn't get her feet under her. I said, fine. I said, if this group of people will front you a month's rent, I'll let you come, stay with me, get you taken care of. I'll get you a job, get your feet under you. You'll always be fed. You'll never be homeless. You'll never be hungry. She says, okay. Her friends all pull out wallets, $500 on the table. Fucking, we got down to singles, but $500. I said, where's your stuff? One of the friends is like, it's in my car. I said, all her stuff is in your car? Yeah, all her stuff is in the car. I said, fine, let's go get your stuff. It's about 7 o'clock at night. 1 trash bag worth of stuff. I said, this doesn't work for me. I said, get in the car. We're driving back to my place. Pull into the Goodwill. We get out. Actually, I think it was the Salvation Army. We get out. We go into the Salvation Army. I said, look, we're going to try to get you a job. Get 2 pairs of black Dockers. Get 2 pairs of khakis. Get yourself a pair of nice black shoes. Get a couple of blouses, a couple of work shirts, polos. All in all, it's about $47. It's the fucking Salvation Army. Get to the house. We're driving home. I pop into you guys know what a White Hen Pantry is? Unless you're from Chicago, you might not know what a White Hen Pantry is. We stop in, grab some stuff, hand her a sandwich. She wolfs that shit down. We get to the house. She breaks down crying because there's a bed for her and a bedside table and a lamp. And in the room she's in, there's books and there's a little TV. And I was like, why are you crying? She's like, I've been sleeping on floors. I was like, have you been paying rent to these people? And they're like, she's like, yeah. I was like, I'll get your money back. Let's see. Nationalism is a disease, a cult of location. Socialism is the most deserving creed to protect the white race. It's through the Jews and Christianity, which is when nationalism blooms and gets white to kill other whites. Just look at World War II for a recent example. Racism is good. The lie that racism is bad is a Jewish fairy tale, like the existence of Jew boy Christ. Wow, man. You managed to walk into a channel and piss off everybody. Hold up a second. Let me help you out. You think you got fucking lost on the way in? Like, it's bad enough that you didn't even fucking read the room. You didn't take one fucking... No, the truth doesn't get anybody riled up. It's the fact that you didn't even read the fucking room. I'm wearing a Celtic cross on my shirt. And I have a Celtic cross tattooed on my arm. You're not going to find a more religious person than me. So, Jew boy Christ. You mean Jewish Rabbi Yeshua? Is that who you meant? No, I'm proud to be a Roman Catholic. I'm also proud to be a pagan. So what? I mean, other than the fact that your account has already been tagged and The cyber person in the channel is already working on locating you. Not a good idea to come in and be a Jew basher when we've got the Jewish cyber people hanging out. But play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But you don't even understand nationalism or socialism. So, also, your account was created 4 hours ago. Wow. Wow. Goodbye. Ah. Oh, yes. Let's report this one. Don't be baffled. Here's the thing, ready? Mommy or daddy didn't hug him enough or fucked him in the ass too many times, or her, whichever it is, and they came out broken. They don't want to admit they're broken. They don't want to go out and get mental help, and so they want to run around and they like to antagonize people on Twitch. The truth of the matter is sometimes I'll engage with people, but what I've started doing is seeing how old the account is. The account is 4 hours old. So now what I've done is I've blocked it, I've banned it, I've reported it, because it's already tagged as a ban evading account. So now that person will get that account banned and all other linked accounts banned. And at the end of the day, I don't care, because I run the show that I run. We're growing on Kick. We're growing on Twitch. If I was healthy, we'd be growing more. I am the weak link in the chain. I'm the weak link in the chain right now. And I'm hoping that with this new med, they changed my meds again, that we'll make some progress. With that said, I gotta go be a dad. Bye. I gotta go be a dad. I will talk to you guys later. I'll see you guys tomorrow for video games.
I wonder if the organic meat sack that runs this channel knows a lot of these sponsors don't sponsor us anymore.
They were longtime sponsors. The credits are fine.
Do we get paid? Is any of this sponsorship money for Gail, Daisy, the Chaos Fund?
You are a figment of Jalan's imagination.